Okay, good morning, one and all. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to this event, The Power of Stock Charts Tools with EarningsBeats Research Engine. It's October 10th. You got John Hopkins here from EarningsBeats. Be joined by Tom and Grayson very shortly. Wanted to just go over a couple of things real quickly. Number one, all of our events are recorded. For some reason, you've got to leave during the event. Don't worry. We'll make sure everybody gets a copy of this recording so you can listen to it at your leisure and as many times as you choose to. If you have questions, we'll try to save some time towards the end, if time permitting. We'll try to get to them. I'll try to answer any questions I can during the event. If it's a stock charts related question that's geared towards Grayson that I can't answer, hopefully he'll be able to answer some of those. If not, you can always go to StockCharts.com, shoot him an email, and I'm sure that he'll try to get to you. Today's event really is all about, connecting the power of stock charts tools, which everybody knows are awesome, with the EarningsBeats tools, which are also awesome. And just to clear up a couple of things, even though we've enjoyed this relationship with stock charts for many years, we're separate companies. Sometimes it seems like we're part of them, but we're not. But we heavily rely on their great scanning tools, and that allows us to share information, and then in turn allows our members to download that information and use it when making trading decisions. Anyways, that's all I want to get into. I really want to get into the meat of this presentation. There's a whole lot to cover. Let me start out by seeing if Tom's ready to roll.
I am ready to roll.
Take it away, my friend.
All right, sounds good. I actually just picked my 5th stock for our top 5 stocks. Talk about the last minute. But that'll be later on. I think what I'll do first, if we can, let's just pull up the agenda and we'll go through what we have planned for today. So right now we're just kind of giving you a brief introduction, going through some of the things we're going to talk about. Grayson has graciously accepted our request. And he has joined us today. So he will be discussing in I don't know, maybe 20, 25 minutes, what's new at stock charts. But really, what I wanted him to talk about a little bit is the ACP. I don't know, we focus on so many tools and features over at stock charts that are related to the sharp charts, but they've got a really exciting new advanced charting platform. And so I wanted Grayson to come over and specifically address that with our EarningsBeats community. And so, and he's agreed to do that. So I'm really excited to have him to do that. And then I'm going to show you from an EarningsBeats perspective, how we set up our platform using stock charts. Literally, I have an account from scratch. Grayson had someone set us up with a new account. And so it's got nothing in it. And I'm going to show you how quickly, if you try Stock Chart Service, they've got a free trial for 30 days. Many of you probably already are members, but they've got a free 30-day trial. We essentially have a free 30-day trial. It's a $7 charge, but we refund it to you a week later. It's just to get everyone set up in our system. But 30 days, you've got free access to stock charts, 30 days free access to EarningsBeats. And I'm going to show you during that setup how you can literally get started in minutes and have an incredible amount of research at your fingertips. So that I'm really excited to do. And then Grayson and I have a history of providing our top 5 stocks. So I thought, we're into a new quarter. Why not do it again? We did it back in April, beginning of April, on the first episode of The Pitch. And Grayson and I joined Mary Ellen McGonigal and host David Keller. And we had a great show, and actually it became a show after we did this, and now it's been a regular feature over at Stock Charts. So Grayson has agreed to come in, and we're going to give you all 5 top stocks for this quarter. And then I'm going to wrap up with the EarningsBeats strategy. So after setting up stock charts and the account using our research at EarningsBeats, I'm actually going to go through and show you many of the ways that we use this platform to outperform the S&P 500. We have certainly gotten a lot of really high marks from our members. Haven't done a satisfaction survey, but I'm sure if we did, we'd get pretty good based on the emails that we get back. I think we would be getting some pretty high marks. But I'll show you how we use the system and kind of get you off on the right foot if you want to give us a try. All right, so let's get this thing started. First, I want to bring in Grayson Roze. He's the Vice President of Operations at StockCharts.com. Grayson and I go back quite a ways. When I joined StockCharts as a senior technical analyst back in March of 2015, Grayson and I actually worked pretty close together, worked together on some shows. And, I've been amazed at the wealth of knowledge that Grayson has. When you look at his picture, I know you probably look at the two pictures on the screen, you probably think they could be twins, about the same age and so forth. But Grayson has been not only somebody great to work with, but he's been a great friend, and really glad to have you here today, Grayson. So welcome.
Thank you, Tom. That is just the nicest introduction I think I could possibly imagine. Thank you.
The part that we're twins, you mean?
Yeah, maybe skip that part, but everything else was really nice. What you said, that was great.
Well, it is always.
It has been awesome to work with you and with John, with everyone at EarningsBeats. I mean, we love you guys at StockCharts. We just absolutely love what you guys do and the way that it connects with our product and what we're building over here at StockCharts. I mean, it's a pretty special synergy, I think, between you guys and us. And you guys are really, the example of what to do with StockCharts, which is always so cool. To see what you guys are putting out, see what you guys are sharing. I mean, it really is what to do with the things that we're building. That's pretty perfect.
Yeah. No, I mean, it fits like a glove.
Yeah.
There's some people who promote products and you don't know if they really like them or not. That's not the case with me. I mean, we build our business around it. So I think it's pretty evident, what we think of all the great tools and features you have at StockCharts. I do want to get into this because I know we're going to be on a fairly tight schedule. Yeah. But as you're going through this ACP, if there's anything that you can think of that might pertain directly to the EarningsBeats community, and we didn't really talk about that, but you kind of know what we do. Yeah. So you can give any tips, if somebody's been using Sharp Charts and you say, hey, you know what, this ACP would be pretty cool at EarningsBeats if you use it here, or if you do this with it. I think that would be really helpful. But I know you got things prepared. I'm going to let you take it away. Sure. So just go with it.
Sure. So should I just grab the screen and run with it?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep. You know the whole deal. You got this routine down.
Let's do it. So, well, first and foremost, I mean, again, thanks guys for having me on. We like I said, we love what you do, and we're excited to share this. We're really kind of positioning StockCharts ACP as the future of us, the future of StockCharts, kind of the next generation of StockCharts. But I do want to say, before we get started, I know there are a lot of people here who use StockCharts already and use Sharp Charts and probably love what we do with Sharp Charts. Sharp Charts is not going anywhere. For those of you who don't know, Sharp Charts is our sort of legacy tool, the charting platform that we're known for, that we've had for about 21 years now. And we've been evolving Sharp Charts for the full history of that 21 years. We will continue to evolve Sharp Charts. We have big plans for that format. What we're building here with StockCharts ACP is kind of the next generation of StockCharts, but it's additive. It's something that's designed to complement the rest of our sort of charting tools and the whole sort of suite of products that we have on the site. Sharp Charts is not going anywhere. I just want to make that perfectly clear. And like I said, we really do have some big plans for Sharp Charts. So I've been really enjoying sort of finding the ways that these two different types of charts can work with each other. So I'll talk a little bit about that here in a sec. But what I want to introduce you to is what we call StockCharts ACP. Now, ACP stands for Advanced Charting Platform. We're calling it the Advanced Charting Platform because it really does give you a lot of advanced features dynamic features. You can drag things around the screen. You can zoom in and out. You can sort of move dynamically and interactively through time on your charts, which is a very, very cool feature of the platform. But the other reason that we're calling it ACP is that there's a lot more than just charts. We really are building this as a true platform, something that sort of encompasses a lot more. We're bringing a lot of new tools and features right into the ACP platform to make it sort of something bigger. It's not just about one chart at a time. We're bringing additional data, additional views. We're bringing plugins in, which give you the ability to actually sort of see more and have content directly from some indicator creators, people like Tom and John. And we're bringing trading to the platform. So we actually have the ability to trade directly from StockCharts with an integration that we've built with Tradier Brokerage. So that's very, very exciting. We've actually just launched options trading through ACP as well. So if you're interested in trading options, you can actually do that directly through the platform. And what's pretty cool about that is that we're doing it for a flat fee. So you're probably used to the standard per contract pricing for any options trading that you're doing. What we're doing now with this partnership with Tradier is actually a flat fee, unlimited options trading. No matter how many contracts you trade, it's still going to be $25 a month. And actually, for your first month right now, if you sign up with Tradier, create an account with them, we're doing that first month actually just for $20. So if you're interested in options trading, you can do that directly from StockCharts. It's $25 a month, 20 for your first month, but 25 after that for unlimited options trading. Pretty cool feature that we're doing there. And if you're interested just in standard equities trading, you just want to trade stocks and ETFs, that kind of thing, that's actually totally free. You can go open an account with Tradier and trade commission-free, unlimited trading for standard equities. Again, right from ACP, right from StockCharts. So very, very cool what we've built there. And again, that's actually an example of how we're going to continue to evolve Sharp Charts. We're thinking about bringing that trading integration over to the Sharp Charts tool as well. So lots and lots of stuff. Anyways, I'm kind of scrolling through the landing page here, the information page here to give you a sense of kind of what's there. But let's dive in. I'm going to close this. We're going to go back to the dashboard, and I'll show you how to get there, and we'll do a sort of a walkthrough of ACP. So for those of you who don't know, this is what we call the members dashboard on StockCharts. So when you log in for the first time, this is the page that you see. I like to call this the heart and soul of StockCharts. Lots and lots of features here. We're going to continue to expand this actually to make it sort of more ACP compatible. But a couple of different ways that you can get to the platform. We do have this button temporarily right here that allows you to launch it. But the primary way that you should get there actually is through this drop down up at the top of every page across the site. So by default, this is going to say Sharp Chart. But when you open this menu, you can actually access all of our different charting tools, many of the different tools that we offer. So you can select ACP right from this menu. And when you type in Microsoft, Apple, whatever ticker symbol you type in here, we're going to actually send you right over to ACP. So I'll show you that in just a second. That's kind of the key way, though, that we're recommending most people get to ACP. The other way from the dashboard, if you scroll down here in Member Tools, there's actually a link right there to StockCharts ACP. And if you're a free user, if you're not actually a member of StockCharts, you can still access ACP. It is totally free to use. It's a kind of a more limited version of the tool, but you can actually start using this right away. So if you go up here again to the top of any page, you hit Charts and Tools, you're going to come to this page, and there's a box right here for StockCharts ACP. Again, you can type in a symbol there and launch directly into the platform. So a couple of different ways to access it. Now, I've given you the lead up. So the big reveal, here is ACP. I've kind of set it up over here, so didn't actually do that symbol entry. But what we're looking at is the S&P 500 and a funky new chart that I've been watching a lot that I call my moving averages view. But this is ACP right here. So what I wanted to do is tour you around, show you some of the features, and kind of, again, like Tom said, give you a sense of kind of where this can fit into your workflow. Again, I've actually really been enjoying finding sort of the synergies between Sharp Charts and ACP. There are some things that the static nature of Sharp Charts are fantastic for, especially kind of longer term study, some of my sort of larger market analysis charts that I'm just sort of looking at and trying to really carefully study, in my weekly routines, those kinds of things. That is where Sharp Charts really shines. Where ACP is fantastic is when you want to really dig in, you want to sort of zoom around, zoom into a specific bar, for instance, see how something is running up against maybe a moving average, something like that. So some pretty cool interactivity that we're going to get into in just a minute. But there is actually a pretty cool way to sort of work with both of these platforms. So I'll talk about that in a bit. But what I wanted to do is, like I said, tour you around the platform, show you sort of the core features, and show you how to get started in ACP. So again, ACP up here, pretty standard. We have a symbol entry box. So any ticker that you want to type in, let's say you want to change this to QQQ. There you go. You've got the ticker entry box up there, so you can change to any symbol that you want. Now I'm going to skip over this little button here, but I will show you briefly. This actually allows you to create multi-panel charts. We'll come back to that in a couple of minutes. But multi-panel charts are a key feature of ACP. So you can actually create up to 9 charts on the screen at once if you want to sort of view multiple things. I'm using that in an interesting way at the end of the week to kind of look at multiple indexes all at once. So I'll show you how I'm doing that in a little bit. You've got your standard charting options here. So changing your period, daily, weekly. If you want to do intraday charts, that's all here. You've got your chart types here. This is something that we're going to continue to expand. We've got some new chart types coming out very, very soon. But a great list of quite a few chart types you can create there, which is awesome. And then ranges, so you can set the range of your chart. Now, unlike Sharp Charts, where range is kind of a crucial thing, ACP is a little bit different because, as I'll show you in just a second, time is a little more fluid in this world. So what you can do is actually sort of, I like to say, you can almost reach out and grab the charts with your hand and move them around. Your trackpad, your mouse, whatever you use to scroll around actually becomes kind of a way to interact with the chart. So when I scroll around, you can see that I'm actually moving this chart around quite a bit. So I can zoom in and out just by moving, scrolling up and down on the chart. So in that sense, again, I'm changing the time period of the chart right here. Or the range of the chart right here just by scrolling around. And so time in this ACP world is a little more fluid. But what this gives you the ability to do, which is very, very cool, is quickly zoom out to, now I've got a multi-year view. And let's say I wanted to zoom in on just this part of the chart. Well, now really quickly I can zoom in and see, okay, how exactly are we interacting with this moving average ribbon that I've got on here? And then I want to go back out, kind of scroll through time. So it's an interactive feature that allows you to sort of really move through time and study different parts of the chart at different points, which is very, very cool. Now, the other thing that you can do is actually click, grab the chart, and move back and forth. So let's say you wanted to do sort of a zoomed out view here, and then you want to keep scrolling back and forth in time and sort of see, go back further. Now we're looking actually at 07 to 09. We can see kind of how we looked on QQQ during the Great Recession there. So an interesting way to sort of move quickly around time. And again, this is where ACP is really an interactive platform, much, much more dynamic than the static view that you get on Sharp Charts. So some very cool things here. We've also got these VCR controls that actually allow you to jump one candle at a time, which is interesting. Or if you scrolled all the way back here, let's say you're back looking at 2010 or something like that, you can click this arrow here on the right, and that'll jump you actually right back to sort of the latest point in time. So some interesting controls there that we have on the chart as well. But put it all together, what we have is a pretty dynamic look at any chart that you want to create. So you can jump to specific ranges. I like to do this, set it to 1 year or set it to 2 years, whatever you want to do. But then as you scroll around, you can sort of manipulate that dynamically, which is pretty cool. Now, let's jump over here to the left. I want to show you the chart settings panel because there's a couple of extra dynamic features that are key for ACP. So what you can see here when you open this, these sidebars actually open and close. By default, you're going to see it open when you first come to ACP. But what you have here is sort of what we call the chart outline. Now, this is a view of what's on the chart. So any indicators that you add to your chart, they're going to show up here. And as you create different charts, let's say I'm actually going to go cheat a little bit and I'm going to go to a more complex chart. I've got this one up here. So now you can see quite a substantial chart outline with a bunch of different overlays. Those are indicated sort of between this thicker line. That indicates basically what's in the price panel. And then you've got all your indicators above and below that those two thick lines, which again indicates the price panel. So what's cool is that you can see all of this. You can actually move things around. So within this panel, if I wanted to sort of reorder some of these overlays, I can do that. You can actually click and drag these little bars over here on the side to reorder panels. So if you wanted to move there, I just move the scooter panel up higher on my chart. I can do that. All I have to do is click this, drag it. You'll see these little yellow indicators that indicate where you're positioning the chart or the indicator. And what I can actually do is drag things into other things. So I've got this horizontal line that I want to attach to scooter. So I can actually drag that within the scooter panel. You can see here, I like to position the on balance volume and the accumulation distribution line within one panel. I like to look at those both sort of at the same time. So let's say I had them separately on my chart. You can see now I've got the accumulation distribution and I've got the on balance volume. Let's say I wanted to put those into one panel. I want the on balance volume sort of behind accumulation distribution. Well, I can just drag that right in there. And now you can see at the bottom of the chart, I've got both of those indicators actually charted in one panel. And I didn't have to go mucking around with different menus and things. All I had to do was click it, grab it, drag it where I want it, and we're done. Now, the cool thing is that you actually have two different options for doing this. So we've got the chart settings outlined over here, but I can also grab these labels right on the chart itself and drag these around. So I want to move that price performance indicator down. I want to move RSI up to the very top. All of that is possible actually just by grabbing these labels and moving them around. Now, what's also cool there is, let's say I wanted to take this 50 period moving average from the chart itself, and I wanted to put that on the scooter. Well, there we go. Now I have a 50 period moving average of the scooter. So it's all very, very dynamic. It's much more fluid. And as you're sort of moving through time, you can move things up and down. You can rearrange your charts. You can scroll through time. That's where ACP really shines with this sort of interactive experience. Now, one of the other cool things is this add indicator menu. This is how you find new indicators. This is how you add indicators to your charts. If you're a member, you can actually star your favorite indicators, and those will show up at the top of the list. So you can see these are some of the indicators that I use most frequently. I've starred those in the lists down below, and they show up here at the top. So I don't have to go searching for them. They're just right here for me. That said, if I did want to filter this list and sort of search for something, let's say I wanted to do the Chande trend meter. There we go. I've got the Chande trend meter right there. I can just use this little search box. So an easy way to find indicators there. Now, I'm going to get into this in just a couple of minutes, but we do have plugins. So you can see down here, I've got these other groups. For example, Larry Williams, I've got his plugin. Dave Landry, this is his Trading Simplified plugin. I've got all these different plugins that I can add, and those indicators show up right here in this menu as well. So what I was showing a little earlier where I had my moving average distances chart, this is a distance from moving average indicator that's actually part of a plugin that I'll describe in just a sec. So the point is, we've actually made this platform extensible. You can add these different options to your ACP experience, which is pretty cool. So lots of new indicators that we're bringing out with a bunch of different partners, which has been very, very cool. So anyways, that is the chart settings panel. Now there's a couple other options here on the left that I want to cover really quick. One is color schemes. Color schemes are very, very cool. We have all these different options, dark, light. We actually have some specialty schemes. Color vision impaired is a pretty interesting one. But we have tons and tons of different ways to make your charts look quite unique. Minority report is a pretty cool one. Molecule actually is one of my favorites. I love this kind of gray background. We also have, some classic sharp charts like styles, but sort of in the ACP world. This is a beautiful one. I love the blue-gray. We've got a Keller style. Who would have thunk it? And the Murphy is definitely one that I use quite a lot with that gray border. I think similar to what Tom uses on his charts. But so lots of different color schemes for you to play with. You can actually customize your charts quite a bit with these different color schemes. Now, when you've combined those two, you've got, again, all your chart settings up here. You've got your color schemes in here. Let's say you've set up your chart exactly the way you want it. You can save all of those different settings that you've customized as chart styles. Now, chart styles are something that we brought over from Sharp Charts. It's sort of a concept that we brought over from Sharp Charts. Many of you may know you can set up your Sharp Charts as sort of a template and actually save that for sort of future use. You can always come back to it. So we have that same concept in ACP. When you've set up a chart, for instance, I've set this up, all you have to do is come over here to the chart styles menu, hit save chart style, and you're going to get this dialog that allows you to save a new chart style. You can also use this to update existing chart styles. So right now we're looking at my basic MA distances, moving average distances chart style. Let's say I made some changes to this and I wanted to go actually update it and sort of resave that chart style. You can do this right through here. But what this allows you to do, I've sort of already previewed this because you've seen me jumping around on different charts. What this allows you to do is quickly create charts that matter to you, charts that you want to use, save those as sort of a template and come back to them in the future. So you can see I've got tons and tons of different styles. I like to play around with this quite a lot, but I've got these kind of basic styles. For example, I've got a very, very basic stripped out daily style that I like to look at. I've got that moving average distances style that I like. I've got one that's just price. It's just a simple price panel with a couple of moving averages. So that's one. And then I've got a bunch of different styles for different security types. I've got stock styles, ETF styles, index styles, all that type of thing. I've got intraday styles when I want to really dig into a trade that I'm putting on. I can actually go look at, this is a 5-minute chart, for example. So I've got different styles for all of that. All of this is highly customizable, and really what it is a time saver. You set up your charts and you don't have to go do that every single time you come to the platform. You can just save them, come right back to them, and the charts that you care about most are always going to be there for you. Now, you can close that, and what we have here below is actually a bunch of other options sort of out of the box that you can play with. So we have some samples, which are pretty fun. One of Chip's favorites is the electric blue. I like that Joker one, but he loves this electric blue chart, which is just quite a beautiful chart. But under these other groups, we have some pretty cool things. So strategies that you hear a lot about, relative strength, trend analysis, momentum, those kinds of things. We have different chart styles sort of set up for those strategies. So if you heard a lot about trend analysis, for example, we've got sort of a strong start for you here with a trend focused chart style. We've got different time frames. So if you're looking for a monthly chart, here's an interesting monthly chart that you might want to start with. Definitely one that you can play around with. We've got chart styles for different trading styles. So if you've heard a lot about, hey, position trading or trend trading, swing trading, we've got different options for you there. And then, of course, we also have some that are tied to specific experts. So, for example, we've got the Tom Bowley style right here. It makes it easy for you to come to ACP and look at a chart that's very, very similar to what Tom looks at, which is pretty nice. We've got my crazy chart style here.
Hey, Grayson, that's a great style, by the way.
It's a great style. It's a beautiful one, Tom. It's one of the best.
Yeah, I also want to just mention too, I'll give you a break here for a second, but
Sure.
we probably have already like 8, 9, 10 questions for you.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And we're going to try to wrap this up. I think we're going to try to do it by 11:40. I mean,
Okay,
this
sure.
could be like a 2-hour webinar all in itself.
It really could.
Things. But I just want to let you know, so maybe we can stop in another 5 minutes or so and go through some questions. So
Sure. Yeah, I'll fly through a couple more things. These things over here on the left are kind of the structural pieces of ACP. So those are the ones that I wanted to make sure you're all aware of. Point is, there are a bunch of different style options for you to play with. So something definitely to go take a look at. Now, the final one here is our annotations panel. Quite similar to what we do in Sharp Charts, but a whole new user interface for this. Actually, quite a few new tools. One of the ones that I'm really enjoying actually is this auto average. So it allows you to sort of drag out, and it'll show you the average price between any bars that you select. It'll tell you the average price and the number of bars in that range. So some very cool annotation tools to play around with. We've done some interesting things here. For example, creating infinite trend lines. So this actually goes infinitely in each direction. We've got extended trend lines that go off into the future, and we've got segment trend lines. So we're trying to really kind of take our experience from 20 years of building charting products, bring those into ACP. Again, we're going to be bringing those to Sharp Charts too. We've got some big additions to Sharp Charts coming out soon. But we've got some pretty cool things to play with here in the annotations tool for ACP. So that is sort of a rundown of what's on the left. Now I know we're short on time, so I'm actually going to open this and clear these annotations. Shows you how easy it is to clear it. I'm going to show you some of the stuff on the right side really quick. A couple of settings here. When you create multi-panel layouts, you can actually link them all together here with this sync mode. So when you add multiple charts, play around with this sync mode. There's some interesting things there. Crosshairs, you can turn those on to actually get sort of a view of exactly where your cursor is positioned on the charts. One that's pretty important here is this fit to window mode. So you'll see I have that on right now. The best example of it, super quick, is my expert style, actually. When you come down here and you click my name, you'll see that I have a chart style that's quite long. I've got quite a few indicator panels, and that kind of squishes the chart. So when you have a big, tall chart, lots and lots of indicators, the chart gets kind of squished. What we have here, let's do this. What we have here with fit to window mode, I'm actually able to turn that off. So the chart can now extend beyond the screen. So when you have a taller chart, you actually have this option to make it tall or short, make it fit to the window, or make it scroll off. So one to play around with there. We've got full screen mode. I'm going to give this a quick refresh. We've got full screen mode, pretty intuitive. A couple of different menus for you to play around with. And then lots and lots of sidebar views over here as well. So this is how you access your chart lists. That's going to be a key, especially for EarningsBeats members. You can create new chart lists in ACP that are going to be ACP specific, but you can also access all of the Sharp Charts chart lists that you've created in your account. So if, let's say you've taken one of Tom and John's lists, one of those EarningsBeats lists, saved it to your account, you can actually come over here, hit Sharp Charts, and access that right from this sidebar. So it's sort of a way to bring your Sharp Charts work already into to ACP. So something to play with there. A couple of different views, alerts, we've got those in here. We've got a market summary panel that gives you access to sort of what the major indices are doing, what the market's doing overall. We have a market movers panel, which shows you some of the stocks that are really moving the market. Most active, top gainers, top decliners, those kinds of things. And then also the scooter reports. Now, this is the StockCharts technical rank, sort of our quick way to rank stocks from a technical perspective. So you can actually access some scooter reports in here, which is pretty cool as well. You get all the different groups there, something to see. The ticker cloud, this is one of my favorites. Again, you can see some of the most popular symbols on StockCharts. Click any of these, and it's going to change the chart right there. So an interesting way to sort of see what other StockCharts users are charting, and come right over here to chart it. And then the other thing that we have that's pretty unique is plugins. So I mentioned this really briefly earlier. What we have are these different plugins that have been created by partners of ours, folks like Arthur Hill, Larry Williams, Dave Landry. We've actually created our own StockCharts plugin as well. These are basically ideas that they've had for a long time. They've said, "Hey, I've got this idea for a new indicator, but I don't really have a good way to build it. So can you maybe help me out? How do I get my indicators into StockCharts?" Well, now we have a great way to do that with these plugins. So you can see all of them here. This is sort of our plugin library, and you can see all the different plugins that we're offering. Actually, all the different plugins that are coming soon as well. But these are sort of one click to install. You get a whole bunch of indicators added to ACP. Again, things that are created by guys like Larry Williams and Arthur Hill, and those are installed right into your account. You actually get those indicators in ACP. So it's a pretty fun way. I'll show you this really quick. Let's dive. I'll pull up a different chart. If I go back over to, again, the chart settings menu, and I scroll down in that add indicator list, you can see, for instance, the advanced indicator pack plugin. All those indicators get added to my view of ACP. And so I now have all these things. For instance, the distance from moving average, that's one that we've added to that plugin. So you can see that down here. So what this allows you to do is basically add new indicators from all these different people to your ACP experience. So this is something that we're going to be expanding quite a bit in the weeks and months and years really to come. So plugins are definitely a key feature of ACP. And then again, we also have the Tradier brokerage integration. So you can log into your Tradier account here and actually start trading directly from ACP. So I know that was a whirlwind tour. One thing that I will leave you with before we take questions, if you hit this little question mark icon in the upper right corner of ACP, there's a button that says take a tour of ACP. That's going to launch something that looks like this. I won't run you through the whole tour, but it gives you sort of a step through view of some of the core features of ACP. It's a great way to sort of get started, learn more about what's here. It'll kind of go over some of the things that we've talked about today, but definitely take that tour. We've also got help docs here. So when you hit that question mark, look for the help docs link, and that'll take you over to some of the documentation. We have pretty extensive documentation about how to use ACP, how to get set up with your charts, save chart styles, create lists, all that kind of good stuff. So definitely check out both the tour and the help docs. I think those will really help you out. So, Tom, I know that was quite quick, but what do we got? We got a couple of questions.
Yeah, I mean, that was a whirlwind tour, going through a lot in a very short period of time. No doubt, but we certainly appreciate it. And the best way to really figure this out is to get in and just start using it. I mean,
it really is.
No substitute for that. But there are some questions. One that I can group kind of together. A lot of folks are asking for, is there somewhere on the site that you have something like what you're doing right here? Is there a tutorial, something that they can find on your website?
Sure. So the best place is going to be in that help docs. That is going to be a key area for you to browse. We're continuing to expand that literally on a daily basis. We've got new documentation coming out almost every day. We're writing quite a bit. Our team is working around the clock on that one. But we're going to have more and more tutorials coming out very soon. We've done a couple of these videos kind of walking through the platform, things like what we're doing right now. So you can I would say go check out those help docs. That's going to definitely help you out. And as we do get more and more video tutorials on all this stuff, that's actually where we're going to put them. We're going to embed them right into the documentation pages. So you'll be able to go there and see all that stuff. I will say, again, keep an eye out for more videos and things like this. We'll be bringing out more help videos soon. But another great way to see how the platform works is to follow some of the people that are using it. For instance, Dave Landry and Arthur Hill on their shows on StockCharts TV, they're actually showing off the platform, showing how they're using it, showing how they're using their indicators, their plugins, things like that. So that's another actually great way to sort of learn ACP is by watching some of the content on StockCharts TV. So definitely check out the help docs though. That's going to be the main place. And again, you hit this question mark in the upper right corner, hit help docs. There's a lot of info for you there.
Okay. And we're not going to be able to get to everyone's question, so I do apologize. We'll try and get Grayson back sometime, maybe give him a little bit more time to really walk through a lot more of this information. Another question that came in is, will ACP be enabled for point and figure? Can you use point and figure charts?
Good question. We are evaluating that. The interactive view on point and figure is a bit strange, but we are evaluating that. Our standalone point and figure workbench is another one we have big plans for. We do think there will be point and figure in ACP at some point. We have quite a few things that we're building before we get there. For instance, we're continuing to optimize the multi-panel layouts. We're going to be bringing RRG into it, bringing scans into it. You're actually going to be able to run scans right from, you can see that here. You're going to be able to run scans right from ACP, get the results and click through all those, save them, all that kind of stuff. So there are a couple things on the roadmap before we get to PNF in ACP, but it is on there somewhere. It's definitely something that's on our mind. So that's a great question. But again, the standalone PNF workbench is another one that we have big plans for. We're definitely going to be continuing to evolve that over time as well, in addition to sharp charts.
Okay. Plugins.
Yes.
There were a few questions on plugins. One asking about cost. Is there going to be a charge individually for each one, or some going to be free? How's that going to work? And for those, if there is a cost, will there be a trial period?
Sure. So that's a great question. It varies. So first and foremost, to access these plugins, you do have to be a StockCharts member. But some of them are free, some of them are paid, some are going to be a subscription. We actually have a Chaikin Analytics plugin that's coming out very soon. They're going to be doing some very, very cool stuff. I saw a preview of that the other day. Really, really cool, bringing their power gauges into ACP. If you're not familiar with Chaikin, go check out their work. It's some pretty cool stuff. But anyways, that one's going to be a subscription. The StockCharts Advanced Indicator Pack it gives you some great indicators, 7 of them out of the box. This is totally free. If you're a member, you install this. It's totally free. It's a great way to just kind of give your ACP experience a quick boost right off the bat. That one is totally free. Dave Landry's actually is totally free, and his is pretty cool as well. Here's kind of a video of Dave talking about his plugin indicators. He's got 6 in there. Totally free. And again, no reason to not go get that. If you're a StockCharts member, I highly recommend getting our Advanced Indicator Pack and Dave Landry's. Arthur Hill's is $49.95. So that one is paid, but quite a low price. And it's just a one-time fee. You buy it, that's it. It's installed in your account forever. You're never going to lose it. So pretty affordable there, I would say. And then, they're really going sort of up from there. Larry Williams is a higher price point. His is relatively expensive, $600. But some fantastic indicators from Larry. And we've got some coming out from, we also have the Fourth Dimension Starter Pack. That one's actually free as well. So it really does vary. We're kind of leaving that up to the partners that we're working with, guys like Arthur, guys like Larry, Chaikin, all that. So it does vary. Some of them may have a trial period, especially for the subscription plugins, but we don't have any of those yet. So stay tuned there. But definitely, again, I can't say this enough. Go if you're a StockCharts member, go install this Advanced Indicator Pack. You just click here. There's going to be an install button, green install button. You click that, it's automatically in ACP. It's a great way to kind of give your platform a bit of a boost there. So definitely look for that.
Okay. One last question, and I really like these questions where you're talking about ACP and some of the other features you have at StockCharts and how it's all going to integrate and interact.
Yeah.
So I got one more question along those lines, and that is, will RRG be added to ACP?
Whoever asked that question, I am going to give you a bear hug after this show. It will be a part of ACP. That is a great question. That is actually something that we're starting to work on right now. So, again, when you think of ACP, let's go back to it for a sec. What we think of when we see ACP is not just price charts. We think of a true platform that's bringing in lots and lots of things. We've got all these different views. Again, I can open, actually, I didn't show this, but there's a drawer that comes up from the bottom. You've got space here. Again, you can create multi-panel layouts, all this kind of thing. So you can get really crazy with ACP. And this is where we get so excited because we do truly see it as a platform. We see it as something that's going to really encompass quite a lot more than just basic price charts. And so we're starting to work on things like bringing RRG in, bringing market carpets in, bringing other funky visualizations that don't even exist yet in, like bubble charts, that kind of thing. Lots and lots of options there. So ACP will continue to evolve. It has a very, very long runway in front of it, bringing in charts like RRG, other tools like RRG. So definitely expect to see all that good stuff very soon. Tom, one that you'll probably be excited about is seasonality. We're definitely going to be bringing seasonality into ACP here at some point. So yeah, it's on the roadmap. We're quite excited about RRG in here. That's definitely one of the first ones that we're going to be tackling. So yeah, great question. Thank you for asking that.
Yeah, there were a ton of questions, and I apologize. We're not going to be able to get to everyone's questions. I tried to get to some of them that I thought were more general that applied to more, questions that were coming in.
Sure.
But we're going to go ahead and move on. And Grayson, if we can get you to come back sometime, as you all continue to build this out, there's going to be more and more features, more and more tools. Yeah. And so I'm really excited. Maybe you can come back and join us for maybe a Friday afternoon or something, and
yeah,
we can go through more.
Yeah, happy to do it anytime. And I will just leave you guys with, reach out to our support team. You can email us at support@stockcharts.com or go to our help page, stockcharts.com/help. And there's actually a way to contact us through the website as well. But if you reach out to the support team, ask any questions that you have. I'm sure we'll get some answers for you. A lot of those I'm sure will also make their way to my desk, to my screen. So feel free to shoot your questions over to our support team, support@stockcharts.com, and we'll definitely get you some answers.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom. I mentioned one thing to Grayson. I just want to clarify that would be a virtual bear hug, right?
That will be a virtual bear hug. Yes. We'll do it via Zoom.
Distancing? Is that going to be a virtual
bear hug? It'll be quite distanced. Yes. Or I'm just going to wait, 9 months until we can get through this thing, and then I'll come find you. Whoever asked that RRG question, that was the question of the day.
All right. Well, we have record. We know who did it. All right, we're going to keep moving on because we do have a lot. Grayson's going to stick around. He's just going to be in the background here for probably next 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to take a look at setting up stock charts on the EarningsBeats platform. So I'm going to take it away. But again,
Awesome.
that was an awesome presentation. Thank you, Grayson.
Of course.
Yeah. And actually, one more thing. We've actually been in talks with stock charts as well about adding an EarningsBeats plugin.
It is true.
So we'll see, where that goes down the road, but that is certainly one thing that we're going to be talking about.
I would like to request that everyone emails Tom personally after the show and says, "Get your butt in motion. We need an EarningsBeats plugin."
There you go. All right. Thanks so much for that, Grayson. As if I don't get enough email already.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's go ahead and move on because I do want to get into setting up the StockCharts EarningsBeats platform. And again, almost everything we do at EarningsBeats is tied to stock charts in some fashion. I mean, I love the tools there and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you all over to EarningsBeats for just 1 second and just point out, anytime we have a webinar special. And so if you, as we go through, and I show you what we do at EarningsBeats. If you're new to EarningsBeats and you think you might like to try this out, I'm going to mention again, there is a free trial at StockCharts, and there is also essentially a free trial at EarningsBeats, both for 30 days. Ours is $7, but we'll refund it back to you within a week or so. So it's a no-cost trial. And I think the next 30 days could really change the way you approach the market. I would highly encourage you at least to check us out. If you don't like it, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Trust me, I just think that these are the way we look at the market, and the tools provided at StockCharts, I think, is very unique, and we'd love to have you try our service. And if after a trial, you're interested, now this is we normally have webinar specials during our webinars or around our webinars. The one we have running right now is, you can see all of these things. By the way, if you go to our website, just click on this webinar special tab up here, and this will bring you down to a lot of the things that we offer just summarized. We always let our members know after 30 days, you're going to be charged $97 a month. That's our regular monthly rate. So we have a 13-month special. It's an annual special. You get a bonus month. If you were to do it based on your your monthly fee of $97 a month, you would be up to $1,261 for 13 months. But we have a special for an annual fee, $697. That saves about 44% over doing the monthly. So it makes a lot of sense if you want to check us out for an extended period of time to take us up on this offer. I just think it makes a whole lot of sense. So just go in to our website, click on this webinar special, and then you will have it. I want to also clarify and just make sure everyone understands, if you are on a trial and you want to take advantage of this annual special that we have, if you sign up today and you just started a trial, you'll still get the final 30 days of you'll get those 30 days on your trial, and then we'll start your 13 months. So if you came in today and said, I kind of like what you're talking about, I'm gonna give it a shot, you'll get 14 months essentially for your $697. So I just wanted to point that out. All right, so I mentioned earlier that Grayson had set me up with, I'm gonna get over here to this other, with a new account. And I just looked at it, and I guess there are some things added by default because I didn't do any of these. So I guess maybe when you start, you get certain chart lists that are added by default. But none of this is what we do at EarningsBeats. So what I want to do is I want to show you how easy it is in this account to start setting things up. So here in the EarningsBeats website, first I'm going to take you to our chart list page. This is what houses all of our, let me get this thing set up for 1 second. This is what houses all of our research, all of our chart lists. So I can't even tell you how many hundreds of hours throughout the year just putting together all the research that goes into these chart lists. We have a strong earnings chart list. I'm going to talk about the various chart lists and our scans and how we use it all together at the end of the show. That's going to be the last segment. All I want to do in this is just to show you how quickly you can set things up. So we have passwords for our chart list, but if you are a StockCharts member, extra or above, so extra member or a pro member, you need to be at those levels in order to download multiple chart lists. If you're a basic member, you're limited to one chart list. You're not going to be able to do this. So you need to be at least an extra member or a pro member. But if you're already there and you're already extra or pro member, when you join EarningsBeats, literally just come in here. I want you to copy these passwords, click on the link, and well, it didn't ask me for the password, which I'm kind of surprised because it's the first time I've actually tried to do this, but maybe some of the others will pop up and I'll show you. But anyway, once you type in the password, if it's requested, you should be able to go right to this button here and click Save to Chart List. All right. And then you're going to type in whatever name you want. I'm just going to call it here. Let's just call it 0101 Strong Earnings Chart List. All right. And I can just say, give me the new list or make it a new list. All right. So I say results. Now, by the way, there's 472 charts in this chart list where when you download these, you've already got companies that beat top line estimates, beat bottom line estimates. I'm talking about revenues and earnings per share. And as you can see on here, I've already got annotations where I'm looking at key support levels. So, all right, so it's successfully saved. So this is now in this new account, 470 some charts. If you are not a StockCharts member, you will be able to scroll through all the charts on the chart list. You just can't save them. You can't download them because you're not a member at StockCharts. So once you start your membership there, you'll be able to download these right into your account. So I'm going to pull up this chart now, and I'm going to go into, and you see the chart list set up, 0101, strong earnings chart list. Just continue to do this over and over and over again. So let's go back to the website, chart lists. So the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to download our strong future earnings chart list. These are companies that are not on our strong earnings chart list, but are still very strong stocks. And you can go through and read how we pick these stocks. But once again, copy this, click on the link, and there's the passwords asking me for the password. I don't know why the first one didn't. Unlock the list. There it is. Save to chart list. It's going to be another new list. And this time I'm going to do 0102. So the other one was 0101. I'm going to have them listed in order. Strong future earnings chart list. Save. And by the way, this is a default, includes chart styles because you want to have it set up the way I have it set up in my account. Now, this one is not an annotated chart list, but these are companies that have been very strong that aren't on the strong earnings. So what happens is as companies get ready to report their earnings, we take them off the strong earnings chart list. And many times those same companies, because they are strong, will go in the strong future earnings chart list. Then companies come out, they report their earnings, and if they beat top and bottom line, many of them will go right back to our strong earnings chart list, and then we'll remove them from the strong future earnings chart list. So companies that are on either one of these two chart lists are either companies that have recently beaten Wall Street estimates or simply look really good on their charts. They're likely to beat Wall Street estimates based on the way they are trading. They give you a sense of what Wall Street is really looking at. All right, so we've saved this, successfully saved. So we can get out of here and go back. And let's see, how about strong AD? Grayson was mentioning Mark Chaikin. The accumulation distribution indicator, the AD line, was created by Mark Chaikin. I give him a lot of credit. That was something that really has helped us in our trading in 2020. So much so that now we have a chart list for the companies that have the strongest AD lines. We call it our strong ADCL, strong accumulation distribution chart list, kind of creative. Okay, so we copy that, password, and then we go in, click on it, paste our password, and now we've got this set up. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. I mean, I've kind of done a little bit of narrating here, but you can see how fast you can get this thing going. Just type in strong AD chart list, save results. Successfully saved. Now, during the period when we had the strong AD. There were also a lot of stocks that were not particularly strong, what we called our weak AD. Think airlines, think cruise lines. These were companies that not only were gapping down back in March and April, but they were selling off during the day. The strong AD, by contrast, strong AD chart list, these were companies that were gapping down, just like the airlines, but during the day they were being bought. So while everyone was panicking out of their stocks and they were all selling, Zoom and Peloton and these companies, institutions were buying them. They were accumulating them. And that's why I wrote back in March that we're in a secular bull market. I remember writing one article where I said, we have a bear market and a bull market simultaneously. There are areas of the market that's in a bull market. There are areas that's in a bear market. And the strong AD and weak AD kind of set that up. So we got the strong AD. So let me copy this. We'll do the weak AD. Copy. Paste our password, unlock the list, save, go in here. So 01, 02, 03, so we're 01, 04 now. Weak AD chart list. And I'm gonna show you later in this account what you do after you get everything set up. You're gonna find a lot of really good trading ideas. Another one that we have is, and I had members write to us and say, well, what about guidance? Do you ever look at guidance? Well, probably not a bad idea to know which companies have been raising guidance. So we started a raised guidance chart list. So copy the password, click on this, enter our password, unlock the list, save to our chart list. And now we have 01, 05 raised guidance chart list. I wish somebody could have had just let me do this instead of doing all the research. This would have been a lot easier just to download all the work. All right, so that's copied. Now I'm going to give you one more. And this one, I tell you, our members love. I'm getting so much feedback from this chart list. This is our short squeeze chart list. And man, there have been some massive winners. I wrote recently when GameStop, less than a month ago, I think was $7 or $8. And I said, this could be the mother of all short squeezes. And when it broke out above $8, it just hit $14.50, I think, on Friday morning. I mean, we're talking about stock being up 80% in about 2 weeks. That is what I call the mother of all short squeezes. It did pull back, but it's probably one that'll continue to do well. But anyway, copy the password. Whoops, didn't get all the password there. Copy the password. Click on the link. See, now this one didn't come up with a password. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, save to the chart list here. And this is going to be 0106 and short squeeze chart list. Save results. Oh, okay, it already went. All right, so if I click on the chart, now I'm going back and I want to show you, here are I got two of them in there. I did save it once already. So I'll pull this one up and I'll just delete. Okay, so now when I go back, you can see that I now have 0101, 0102, 0103, the 6 chart lists, primary chart lists. We do have one other one I'm going to show you too. That's actually, no, I can't do that from the website. But we have an industry group relative strength chart list. If you're an annual member, we do reserve that for our annual members because it's a one-time. Once you have the chart list, it doesn't get updated. It's all 104 industry groups at StockCharts, all put into a relative strength list. Every one of the charts are industry groups relative to the S&P 500. And you can run summaries, just like I can run a summary of this chart list, the strong earnings. If you go up here and click on summary, it'll give you every stock in this list. And by the way, I'll pull up edit, and you can see there's 472 companies in here. I went through thousands and thousands of companies, found the ones that met our criteria, and dropped them into this chart list, and you can drop them into your account in about 3 seconds. And I can promise you I spent probably every quarter, I'm guessing 100 hours that I spend putting this together. And it's not just putting it together, but also annotating. I mean, here was the gap up. We pulled back. We went right to here. Buyers started coming back in at this level. So when the buyers come in at this level, that's a pretty good indication you got good support there. Check what happens each time Aerojet's gone back to that level. It's bounced and moved higher. That's a pretty important support area. And so that's what we do with all of our charts, is we're giving you some technical information on the charts in addition to the fundamental information. This is really our flagship chart list. Although some of our members, like I said, probably would argue the short squeeze chart list because of some of the emails that I've gotten back and some stocks that some members have had. But I think of our service at EarningsBeats as being one of research, and I think the strong earnings chart list is really a huge piece of what we do. One last thing, and then we'll keep moving on because it is time to move into the top 5 stocks, but I just want to show you one other thing about our website, and that is scanning strategies. So if I go back, try and get all the way back to the website. There we go. So over here, you've got scanning strategies. So, and I'll just pick one of these. I've got a downtrend reversal, which I think is pretty cool. Basically, it's just looking for stocks that have been downtrending, and now it's starting to show signs of an uptrend. So I can copy this, and then I can go to stock charts. Actually, I just go over here. Let's go back to the dashboard. I'm going to go down to, I've got to set this up over here. So I want to make sure, scans and alerts are on there. So I should be good. I didn't go down far enough. There it is. So I'm just going to say new scan. I'm going to get rid of all of this. I already got everything syntax I need right here. And I'm going to paste that. And now I'm going to save the scan as, we'll just call it, it's the second one on the list. So I'll just say 002 downtrend reversal. All right. And I'll show you in a bit, but you can run this scan against the chart list. And so this is the last thing I'll do, and then we'll move on. So if I go into, say, the strong earnings chart list, I add it. Now it's going to run this scan against one of our chart lists. I always hit the check syntax just to make sure it's going to work. Everything's good. Now, sometimes you don't have any meeting the criteria, but let's see. I didn't even look. Let's see what we have. None on Friday. But one other thing we can do is we can go back and say, go back one day. And click syntax. Everything's good. Run scan. And we had 2 from the day before. So you look at the chart on eBay. eBay went down 5 straight days in a row. 2 days ago, you can see it broke out for the first time, setting a new high off that downtrend. What happened the next day? Up 6.4%. That's not bad. That would have been a pretty nice indication. How about, hold on, let's get back up here. Let's go back and look at Penn. I didn't look at Penn. And this one did put in a higher, actually, I'm not seeing a higher high. Maybe it did just barely go higher. Finished pretty weak. And this one kept going down. So this one didn't work. But these are fairly strong stocks. You can see Penn National is an uptrend. Clearly, eBay has been in an uptrend, even though recently it's pulled back and consolidated. These are good stocks. And it's a scan that's set up literally to hand potential reversals to our members to take a look at. You might like them, you might not. You might look at Penn National and say, well, I'm not a big fan of the gambling group. And so that might be a problem. And you might say, no, I'm not interested in that. That's fine. But the whole idea here is we're going to have some preset scans. We're going to have our chart list set up for you. All you have to do literally is just a couple of seconds have potential trades set up for you. So we are going to go ahead and wrap up this segment with that. I will talk more about this at the end of the webinar today. Again, if you came in late, I do want to just mention that if you go to EarningsBeats, and I'm not logged in, and we go to the home page, you'll see some of our performance with our portfolios, which I think are incredibly impressive. And then again, checked out the webinar special. All right, we're going to move on. Let's go into the top 5 stocks for quarter 4. And I tell you, Grayson, I don't know if you followed. Have you followed what we've done
From that original pitch thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have followed what we've done. It's pretty
It
remarkable.
is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
I'm going to, well, I should have just kept the screen. I'm going to show you, and I'm going to give you some numbers. I actually published it in an article. I was shocked. I hadn't updated it for a couple months.
Yeah.
And, you know, you and I and Mary Ellen were on the pitch back on April 1st. And let's go back over here for a second. And because I don't have my other account set up, I'm going to go in first. Let's go to, I want to log out of this account and log back into an account where I've got all my charts set up. All right, so I'm going to go through real fast because these were the ones that you and I had. I will say that I did finally overtake you. I think you, after 90 days, you had me beat. So I kind of declared you the winner.
It was close though. Wasn't it like less than 1%?
Yeah, it was very close. Well, it's not as close anymore. I actually took over, but apparently I'm more of a marathon runner. But okay, I'll go through. Here were the 5 that I picked. This was back on April 1st now in the middle of the pandemic. You got to kind of, you know, project back to where we were.
Yeah.
And all the uncertainties that we had at the time. I mean, it's easy to look back now and see it, but back then we were right in the midst of it, Grayson.
I know. Think about it. Looking back on it, that's my biggest takeaway is just what a time to buy that actually was. Jeez.
It was. And that's a lesson for everybody. When the market's volatile and everybody wants out and they're just at any cost, you're panicking, the VIX goes to 90, buy if you can. Buy. Anyway,
it's totally counterintuitive, but it's actually a low risk, high reward moment at some point. I mean, when you have that much of a severe sell off, that much of a freak out across all the major indexes and stuff, you know, at some point it's got to bottom out.
Crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So there's Peloton. All right. So I also had Regeneron. So Regeneron right here, April 1st. By the way, Peloton's up 363% since April 1st.
Jeez.
Regeneron's up 23% since April 1st. Zoom, since April 1st, here's your April 1st price, 236%. Pets, PETS, that's Pet Med Express. This one was doing really well for a while and then actually pulled back, but it's still up about 11.4%. And then the last one, Wingstop, they had actually, during the pandemic, they came out with free delivery for 3 weeks and really built up their market share. So I like this one. In April, it was 79.70, and it finished up 65%. So those were mine. Average gain, 139.95%. Not bad.
Wow.
And the S&P 500, by the way, has been up 34%. So just, you know, from comparative purposes. All right, so these are Grayson's. And Grayson was more consistent than me. I think, you know, Peloton and Zoom really carried mine. But you had 5 really good stocks. All 5 beat the S&P 500 through yesterday's close. Team, you're up 45%.
Yep.
FIVN, 5.9.
Yeah.
You are up 83%.
That was a winner.
Yes. Microsoft, I'm surprised you're not living on an island somewhere. Microsoft, 36.84%. But that was, you know, a little bit more, you know, not really the high flyer type. That was more of a
that was kind of almost a conservative choice. Yeah.
But did well. Amazon up 68.5%.
Yeah.
And your big winner was Shopify, 163%.
Yeah.
All right.
God, good call on Peloton. So I've been kicking myself on Peloton because technically the chart was starting to look great. It's exactly what I look for in stocks. Technically, the chart was starting to look great. It was outperforming. And then I had this little thematic thing where it just made sense to me. Everyone's stuck at home. People still have to exercise. We're all going to buy exercise bikes. But I had this little kind of observational experience around the start of that pandemic where probably 7 different people told me they had just bought a Peloton. And I stood there looking at the chart and I went, this makes so much sense. This stock is probably going to do really, really well over the next couple of months if this whole pandemic thing drags on. And sure enough, Peloton has turned into an absolute rocket ship.
Yeah. Well, I wish I had owned it the whole time.
I know.
Sometimes, you look back and you're like, what the heck's wrong with me? I talk about a
Yeah.
stock, and I did have Peloton for a while, and I did make good money
Did
with
you?
it, trading, but,
Yeah.
and it's in one of our portfolios right now. It's in our strong AD portfolio, I think.
Mhm.
But look, I mentioned earlier about the AD and Mark Chaikin, developing the
Yeah.
accumulation distribution. This is what I talked about back on the pitch on April 1st. And this is what really changed our trading strategy in 2020.
Mhm.
Peloton went down from 30 some dollars to 18. Now you would think AD line, the accumulation distribution, would go down as well. It instead went up and was setting new highs. And
Yeah.
if you're familiar with the AD line, when you get a gap down and then you get a rally, that even if you finish down for the day, OBV considers down for the day as negative.
Yeah.
The AD line, if you finish close to the upper end of the trading range, actually treats that as a positive.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how this line was going up. Even though the price was going down, a lot of these down days, you could see that the stock actually was not trading on the low. It was being bought during the day and coming off of those lows. And that's
Yep.
why that AD line never got hit. And there were a lot of those companies. In fact, Grayson, just about every one of the ones you picked were like that.
Yeah.
And I want to do one more thing, because I don't know if you remember, but you joined me on June 8th and we did this exercise again. Do you remember that?
Yeah. That was fun.
Do you know which stocks you picked?
I remember a couple of them. I know that Avalara was in there. That's one I actually still own. Did I have 5.9 in there again? Because
No,
it was still.
you have 5 new ones, but they were all software. Remember?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, what were the 5 then?
All right, so here you go.
Avalara is the one I remember.
Yeah, I'm a nut with spreadsheets and tracking everything. So
Yeah,
if you ever
like
do anything with me, it's coming back up again. Just remember that. Avalar, you had up 58%, and this is since June 8th.
Yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry, May 8th. So since May 8th, 58%. And keep in mind, the S&P since May 8th is up 18.7%. Okay.
Yeah.
So Avalar, 58%. MDB,
Yep.
46, almost 47%. Look at it breaking out again.
Yeah, I know. The chart looks nice right now.
ServiceNow, remember that one?
Yeah.
35%. Your only negative one was Smartsheet.
Yeah, I know that thing. It never made the breakout. It's just really struggled with that breakout.
Yeah, right here at 60.
Yeah.
So you're not bad, down 4%. I got one a lot worse than that one, by the way.
Okay.
And then Viva Systems,
yeah.
53%. So your average on these 5 since May 8th, 37.7%, which is more than double the S&P.
Nice.
All right. So here are the ones I went with. And since you won the last battle for 90 days, I won this one. Livongo.
Yeah.
Pick this one. It's up 159% since May 8th.
Yeah. It's been a rocket.
ENPH, up 90% since May 8th. PayPal,
Yeah.
up 36%. Don't really want to talk about this one. LIVX, down 31% since May 8th. And then the last one was DocuSign.
Yeah.
Another monster.
You said, I remember you saying that you had just done all the paperwork for your house through DocuSign, and it blew you away. And then I actually just had the same experience, because we just closed on a new house a couple of weeks ago. Same thing, all of the paperwork, everything through DocuSign, and it's got me going, oh, this just makes so much sense. And I don't think we're going back on that. I don't think anyone's going to say, oh, you know what I really actually want to do is go into the bank and sign all this paperwork, because that's a ton of fun. I could do it from my living room, but no, I think I'd prefer to go do this hard copy.
Yep. Changing. I mean, these are paradigm shifts, and that's what we talked about back in April.
Yeah.
These are things that I don't think are changing. I think that, now that we realize how easy and simple some of these things are, I mean, like Zoom, a lot of people want to work from home now.
Yeah, it's true.
I think it's
got staying
the way
power.
we're doing business. Yeah.
It really has staying power.
Yep.
That's interesting. Okay, so I will say I own actually a bunch of those, which has been nice. So PayPal, Livongo, ServiceNow, Avalara. I think there was one more in there that I actually own and have had for most of this year, kind of since those lows that we put in. And they've been great trades. I mean, there have been some serious rockets in this bull market that we've that we've found ourselves in. It's been wild.
It's been crazy. Well,
Yeah.
you ready to do it all over again?
Let's do it. I got my 5.
You got your 5. All right, you got 5. You got 5 minutes. I know I ran
Okay.
over a little bit at the beginning, but I'm giving you your full
Yeah,
5
yeah.
minutes. I'll do my 5. So you
All right.
got till 12:20 Eastern. Go now. What do you got? And share
Okay.
your.
I have a theory that we are going to have one shared, but we'll see. So
Okay.
hopefully everyone can see this.
And by
Okay.
the
So
way,
we're,
before you get started, I have all new
Yeah, yeah.
ones. I don't have anything that I've used before.
okay. So I don't have any that I've used in any of the times that you and I have done this. I do have a couple though. If you watch StockCharts TV, if you check out any of the content that we do there, I was on a show that we have called Your Daily 5 on Monday, and I had a couple of these on the Your Daily 5 presentation there on Monday. But they're still just looking great. They're actually from a list that I put out every Sunday. If you go follow me on Twitter, if you're on Twitter at Grayson Roze, I put out this list every Sunday. It's just something I do for my own process, and I started putting it on Twitter because I'm doing it for myself anyways. I might as well share it with other people. There are always great ideas in there. So I put out this list of 10 I'm stocking every Sunday. 10 ideas, 10 charts that are setting up nicely. They're generally breakouts to new 52-week highs. That's the sort of the move that I like to trade the most. I love the strength that a breakout to a new 52-week high represents. So a lot of them fit that pattern, breakouts to new 52-week highs, but a lot of trend targets as well. Stocks that have been trending nicely and are just continuing to outperform the market. That leadership is something that is invaluable. So a lot of those as well. Anyways, a couple of these actually are from my last, which is almost a week ago, last 10 I'm stocking list last Sunday. I covered those in Your Daily 5, but I'm going to highlight a couple of them here today because they're still on the move, looking great. So the first one that I have up is Appian. It's an interesting company that helps kind of automate business practices and business processes. I'm seeing a couple of things here. Actually, I'm going to scroll this back a little bit. Again, that's one of the benefits of ACP. You can scroll through dynamically. So what we can see here is multiple tests. 5th time is the charm here for Appian. Multiple tests of this kind of mid 60s level. And as we are really flying through that breakout to new 52-week highs, great outperformance. This is Appian versus the total market. So we're just flying higher there, outperforming the total market heavily. I love to see this accumulation distribution line going higher too. Again, I look at the accumulation distribution and on balance volume in one panel. I actually like to put those together and sort of see how they're moving individually, but also how they're moving together. It's interesting when you see sort of divergences between the two, kind of like Tom was talking about earlier. But I love to see this accumulation in Appian. There's some clear buying pressure here. The scooter, again, that's the StockCharts technical rank up in the mid 90s. That's a high score. That means there's some real leadership here from Appian. So you combine that with the beautiful breakout, a well-tested breakout too. I mean, this is the 5th time that we tried to cross that mid 60s level, almost the 6th if you count this sort of failed attempt here too. So great move from Appian. I really like the play there. Next up, we have Etsy. Now, Etsy is interesting. It's not a breakout to new 52-week highs, but it has been consolidating and it's starting to break out sort of above that cup that we've been putting in here, that recent consolidation pattern. Again, beautiful outperformance. What I love here too, thematically, it makes sense to me. Lots of people shopping online, but also a stock that's just added to the S&P 500. That's pretty interesting. That's a lot of new buying pressure, sort of automated buying pressure going into the stock because it's part of SPY and all these S&P 500 tracking ETFs that have a lot of just automated money flowing into them. So I like that. I like what that signals for Etsy, a company that's just growing revenue, growing earnings, outperforming beautifully. Again, nice accumulation, leading on the scooter rank. I mean, look at that, just way up at the top for quite a long time. So a bit higher. This is actually one that I took a position in, though, a couple of days ago, sort of on this breakout above the cup. And I think this has some real room to run above it. So Etsy is definitely one I'm watching. Pinterest, this is the one I think Tom might also have on his list, but I don't know. We'll see. Pinterest, I think, is a really interesting company. When I scroll this back, this is almost an IPO base. This is kind of what I call that. And really what we're doing, I mean, we've been trending beautifully for the last couple of months here. So you could think of that as a, extended run. Some people would say, oh, it's run too far, too fast. But really, when you think about it, it's actually been going sideways really since its IPO. I mean, we haven't really gone anywhere on Pinterest. We're starting to finally break out now above that kind of mid 30s level. That was, clear resistance for the stock a while ago when it first went public. So I love to see this as kind of, starting to set up after the IPO base, if you will. Again, great accumulation. I love to see that. Love the scooter up at a nice high score. Some big volume buying days. That is fantastic. And outperforming, just heavily outperforming. Ultimately, like Tom's always saying, if you're going to outperform the indexes, you got to own things that are outperforming the indexes. This is a great example of something that is now really starting to outperform. And I just love the breakout and kind of what Pinterest has in front of it. Also, I mean, kind of like Tom with DocuSign signing all his paperwork from home and everything. I'm right now in the middle of planning a home remodel and planning a wedding, and all of that with the designers, the wedding planner, all that stuff. It all runs on Pinterest. That's where they live. All these kind of design services and everything, construction now, a lot of that, it lives on Pinterest. It's really a source of sort of sharing inspiration. So an interesting one there. I got to fly through the next couple, but Snap is kind of similar to Etsy. Again, broke out earlier, puts in this cup, nice outperformance, and it's breaking out of that sort of consolidation that we've seen in the last couple of weeks, couple of months. So again, nice outperformance here. I love that. Great accumulation. Scooter has made its way up into the 90s, which is beautiful. Just trading nicely above its moving averages. Rising 200-day, rising 425, rising 100. The 50s now starting to rise again, and breaking out above that sort of high 20s level, which is beautiful to see. So I like the action on Snap as sort of a breakout, consolidation, and breakout again kind of move. Now, one that's a true breakout to new 52-week highs here. We'll get away from the technology and we'll go over to Toll Brothers, obviously home construction. We're hearing all this narrative of the move to the suburbs, people kind of fleeing the cities and stuff. They think they're going to be working from home indefinitely. Toll Brothers obviously positioned to benefit from that. If we do see a big move to the suburbs, a home builder, one that I see a lot around here in the Seattle area, building a ton out here. So again, great outperformance. It's starting to outperform. It's been an underperformer for quite a while, but now it's really steadily starting to outperform, which is interesting to see. Great accumulation, high scooter. It's the same story. It's the same story here for Toll Brothers, breaking out to new 52-week highs. If we do see COVID continue to last and this flight to the suburbs continue, I think Toll Brothers is really well suited to benefit there. So those are my 5: Appian, Etsy, Pinterest, Snap, and Toll Brothers. So
wow.
Whirlwind tour again.
Yeah, we've got 2 the same.
Do we?
Yes.
Ooh. Did I guess it correctly? Is it Pinterest? Well,
Yes.
I'll let you get into it. You can.
Yeah. Yep, you got 2 of them. I was like, no way. I couldn't believe it was all yours.
Hey, good charts are good charts, man.
Yeah, we did not, communicate at all about this before today.
I know.
I wanted to see what Grayson came up with, and I was going to do my own. But
Yeah.
it looks like you and I will either be heroes or we'll be crying. We'll be drowning in our tears in 3 months.
We're shared on this. But the only reason I thought Pinterest might be on there is because I think I had seen you write something about it earlier in the week, but that was the only coordination. We did not talk, like Tom said.
Well, I put my favorite stocks in my model portfolio, and I'm going to talk about our portfolios in a little while, but Pinterest is in that portfolio.
Yeah. It makes sense to me.
Big fan of Pinterest. I think the stock's going higher. Okay, let's go ahead and let me bring my charts up here, and I'll get you. Yeah, I got my picks on the back of a napkin right now.
It's not a Starbucks cup. Come on.
Hey, I could have done it on the back of a Starbucks cup. That's pretty good. All right, I'm going to start with the 2 that are the same as yours, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. I'm just going to show on the charts, and those of you maybe that are new to Earnings Beats and maybe haven't followed my work, just give you a sense of what I look for on the charts. My background: I'm a CPA. I was in public accounting for 20 years. Fundamentals do mean something to me, but I would never buy based on fundamentals. I buy based on the technicals. I can do my research and like stocks based on the fundamentals, but the technicals are where it's at. That tells you what Wall Street's buying. I can sit there and think I'm the brightest bulb in the drawer. But the Wall Street doesn't care what I think. I mean, I'm just like this little, I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. Like worse than a needle in a haystack. I mean, I'm way smaller than that. And Wall Street has all of their PhDs and their MBAs and that's a really bright group on Wall Street that goes out and meets with management teams and figures out, which are the real winners out there and which aren't. And the way you and I can tell is by looking at the charts. And the one thing that I keep trying to enforce over and over and over again is that when you're investing, invest with the leaders, leading stocks and leading industry groups. There's a reason why they do that. I remember I avoided Amazon for a long, long time because the CPA in me was like, they can't make any money. And the stock just kept going up, 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 up. And I missed out. I really didn't own Amazon very much because of that. And I have completely avoided that. And I have been owning Tesla. Tesla has been one of my best stocks I've owned. But anyway, leading stocks and leading industry groups. That's going to be my theme, always is. And I'm going to show you what I came up with for the next 3 months. First one, Etsy. I agree with you, Grayson. I think Etsy is a great play. Look at the AD line breaking to a new high. We have 4 portfolios, and the one that's doing the best right now, even better than our model portfolio, is our strong AD portfolio, which is our accumulation distribution. That's kind of our main reason, or one of the main reasons for picking the stock, is it has to have strong AD. But here's Etsy breaking out, and look at the AD line breaking out to a new high. So that's important. But more important, or just as important, is the relative strength. Notice the Specialized Consumer Services Index just making a major breakout. So you've got a strong group. You've got Etsy, which is on the verge of breaking out to yet another 52-week high relative to the group. So the group is strong, and Etsy is one among the leaders in the group. Then you've got Etsy already broken out versus the S&P 500, and you have Specialized Consumer Services breaking out relative to the S&P 500. When you've got all your charts lined up like this, moving from left to right, those are going to be stocks that I'm going to be considering. And throw on, on top of that, accumulation distribution that's strong, and price breaking out, and volume trends that are nice. And you've got the makings for a stock that should be considered in a portfolio. And there are some that want, I've had so many people write to me and like, what about Schlumberger? This stock used to be X dollars, and, isn't it a great value now? Shouldn't we be buying stuff like that? No, that's not what I do. I'm not trying to unlock value. I'm not Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett's the king at unlocking value. Airlines, maybe some people think that's a great value. Buffett sold out of all of them. So, just because a stock's going down or is lower than it used to be doesn't mean it's a good value. Many times there's a reason why these stocks are being discarded by Wall Street. So like Grayson, I stick with leaders. I want momentum. I'm a fairly short-term trader. And even our portfolios, they're buy and hold, but they're only buy and hold for 90 days. Then we get rid of them and we buy 10 new leaders for each of our portfolios. That's the way the portfolios work. So if they start underperforming, they're gone. There's no excuses. But anyway, Etsy is the first one. Pins, this is the other one that Grayson liked. I also like AD line breaking out. You've got Pinterest on a roll to the upside. Internet stocks. I believe internet stocks are going to roll in the fourth quarter. I think we're just starting to see them turn back to the upside, which I think is very bullish. You can see Pinterest, huge leader relative to the internet group, huge leader relative to the S&P. And even though internets have pulled back, we're 1 month removed from internets being 52-week high. I think we're going to start to see money return to that group. And I think Pinterest is going to be a big beneficiary of that. Third stock I have, SolarEdge. So last time I went with Enphase. I really like both these companies, but I'm going to go with SolarEdge this time. Yes, it's had a huge run, but I think there's a reason why it's had a huge run. Short term, could it pull back, maybe get a 20-day test? Yes. These companies, when they go through these big moves to the upside, typically will pull back and allow you to get in a little cheaper. Are we going to go to, 350 first before we pull back? I don't know. Maybe we pull back right from where we are now and go back to 250. That would be awesome. Well, not so awesome for our portfolios because we have this one in our model portfolio, but it would be awesome if you're looking to jump in. Solar Edge, though, look at the volume coming in on this move to the upside. Look at the AD line just soaring to the upside. And then look at the relative strength charts. Renewable energy has exploded over the past week or two. We're really back to since the middle of September. So I was just showing you internet stocks have pulled back. Well, look at this. Renewable energy had pulled back for about 3 weeks, and then they resumed their strength. They overall are strengthening relative to the S&P, and now they've just broken out. If you catch a leading stock like Solar Edge during one of their big moves in the group, this is how you go, you get a stock at 180 and you're at 300. I mean, it's leading stocks and leading industry groups. So Solar Edge would be my third one. Fourth one, I'm going with Square. Square, I think, has resumed its prior move. I mean, we saw it get absolutely hammered back in March. April wasn't so good, but now I'm looking at the volume trends on these moves to the upside. I'm looking at the AD line getting very close to another 52-week high. I'm looking across at the relative strength. I mean, just straight up, you got a leader again. Computer services has come off this double bottom, haven't exactly broken out, so this maybe is a little bit riskier because the overall group's been a little weak. But even if I get a somewhat weak group, when I get this kind of relative strength, this kind of volume coming in to support it, AD line strong, I think stock's being accumulated for a reason. I see it going higher. And then the last one I have is iRhythm, IRTC. This is in medical equipment. This kind of rounds out how I diversify. I don't diversify with the S&P 500. I wrote an article this morning. I don't know if you saw it. 81 stocks in the S&P 500 have lost ground in the last 6 months. 81 stocks. So when you buy the spider, you are buying pieces of those 81 companies that haven't been able to make a dime in the last 6 months while we've had one of the greatest rallies in the history of the U.S. stock market. That's the problem I have with diversifying. I don't want a portion of my money going into stocks that are doing nothing except costing me money. Why not have your money in stocks that Wall Street loves and they're going higher and trending higher? When they break down, you get rid of them and you look at the next group that's leading and stick with the leaders, the winners. Anyway, iRhythm Technologies, big move up. Look at the AD line. Another new high. Great volume trends. Huge move. When a stock goes from 120 to over 210 in a week, that's telling me that Wall Street's got it wrong. This company's worth a lot more, and it's just continuing to trend higher. I think this is a nice looking chart. Is this a risky stock? Yes. I'm not going to, and we're not registered investment advisors at EarningsBeats. None of us are. Our company is not. So don't take this as advice to go out and run out there and buy. I don't provide advice. What we do at EarningsBeats is provide education. The things that help us, in the portfolios, we do everything in real time. We try to make it simple. We try to make it transparent. Exactly what we're doing. It's not complicated. Everybody tries to make it so complicated. You think you need to go out and hire a professional. It's not that complicated. The tools, the platform, everything that you get at StockCharts provides you everything you need to outperform the so-called experts in our field. I think I read 64% of fund managers could not keep up with the S&P 500 in 2018. I think over a 10-year period, it was up to like 82% that couldn't keep up. And over a 20-year period, more than 90% of fund managers can't keep up with the S&P 500, partly because the expenses associated with running their operation. StockCharts, what is it, Grayson? $34 a month or something?
Oh, at the high end. I mean, you can be a basic member for $15 a month. Extra, I mean, is really the sweet spot. I should tell you all to go be pro members, but realistically, extra is the absolute sweet spot, and that's $24.99 a month. $24.95 actually.
Yeah, I mean, Greg Schnell needs the pro because he has how many chart lists?
Too many. Greg, if you're listening, delete your chart lists.
No, Greg's great and great friend too. But anyway, yeah, it's I think you all at StockCharts provide great tools for everyone. I know we're running a little over in this segment, but certainly worth it.
Tom, I appreciate that so much, but I think more importantly, you're spot on. I mean, I come from the true kind of individual investor retail side of this whole industry. My passion ultimately is markets, trading, investing, looking at charts. And I really do think that technical analysis, charting is an empowering thing. And you as an individual investor, everyone out there who's listening who is an individual investor, you have a substantial advantage over the rest of the industry because you are nimble, you care about your own portfolio. No one's going to care about your money the way that you do. And you have the ability to use these tools, watch these tools, piggyback on what's happening in the markets, piggyback on what's truly outperforming. And again, you're nimble. You can get in and out of things easily. You don't have positions that are going to move the market. That doesn't apply to these major fidelity funds or people love to model themselves after Buffett. Buffett can't do anything. He moves the market as soon as he tries to breathe. And that goes for so many other funds that have to really be crafty about how they're taking on new positions and unloading current positions. You don't have that issue as an individual investor. You're not going to move the market, and that is a substantial advantage. And when you really kind of lean into it and focus on what's working, focus on what's outperforming, it's a big, big boost for you.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, I think, like I said, all the tools and features you have at StockCharts, really our entire educational and research engine that we've put together here, a lot of it's dependent on what you do at StockCharts. And it's trying to do exactly what you're saying, trying to empower the individual to actually do better than the experts and to beat these benchmark indexes. If you can't beat them, then just put your money in them and go golf and hike or play tennis or whatever it is that you do.
Tom saying go golf. Wow, I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, that's never happened before.
No, but you guys totally complement what we do, and what we do works because there are folks like you out there, like you said, educating people, showing what's happening in the market, showing how you're looking at the markets. That sort of window into your process that you give is what makes our service and our tools and the things that we build so valuable. It really, those two together, that's the perfect recipe.
Yep. No doubt about it. And things are always changing, and you got to change with them. I do think that's one of our strengths at EarningsBeats, being in public accounting. My background, I love researching. I love putting things on a spreadsheet and trying to figure out what makes things tick. And, prior to March, I had never used the AD line. I knew it was there, and I kind of looked at it before, but I had never used it. Now it's a staple on my charts.
Primary. Yeah.
I think it's really important to understand. And in this environment, especially, it's been very important.
Yeah.
But anyway, I know you got to go, Grayson, but it was, such a pleasure to have you come back over and join us. It's been a while.
Blast.
It's always much fun.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. I mean, it is a true blast to do this, to be here. It's just always fun to join you, Tom, and you, John, as well. If anyone has any questions, like I said earlier, you can definitely contact our support team, support@stockcharts.com. We are here for you. A lot of those make their way to my desk, so happy to answer anything. You can also go follow me on Twitter or something, and feel free to reach out there. At Grayson Roze is my handle. Or you can check out my personal website, stockmarketmastery.com. You can also contact us there. So tons of ways to keep in touch, and would love to keep in touch. And Tom, I'm happy to be back at any point. It's always a blast to join you guys.
Okay. We got an opening tomorrow, so I'm glad you mentioned it.
Yeah. Okay. So, sorry, you're breaking up, Tom. I can't hear you.
No, it was a pleasure. I do want you to come back, though. As you all get further and further along in the ACP and you make all these different things, I think having a session a little bit longer, completely dedicated to ACP would be awesome.
It's changing rapidly, and especially once we get that EarningsBeats plugin in there, it's only getting better by the day. So would love to do more of an in-depth deep dive at some point here.
Grayson, really appreciate it. What are you doing in your spare time aside from renovating a house and getting married?
That is a good question. I've been asking myself that lately. Yeah.
During pandemic.
I'm one of those sick people, I think, just like you guys, that just I get off the job looking at charts, and I go to my side project of looking at more charts. I just really like the markets. I'm just a total market nerd. It's a problem.
That's why we're here, Grayson, on a Saturday.
I know. Exactly.
I mean, more than anything else, we are demonstrating to everyone that we have no life.
We have a problem. Yes.
Does your wife or your soon-to-be wife know what she's getting into?
I don't know. I think she's trying to do the normal thing and sleep in here on a Saturday because we're on the West Coast. So she was like, "I'm gonna sleep in because I have a job and I'm not gonna get up early on a Saturday to talk about markets. That seems like a crazy person thing." But I said, "Hey, that's what I like to do for fun."
Well, it's funny because, when I set this up for 11 a.m. Eastern, I was thinking, if I have Grayson, I'll be 8 o'clock out there. I'm going to see how committed he is. And so the next time I think I'm going to do like 8 a.m. Eastern, which will be 5
All right.
a.m.
All right. We'll make it work. There's always time for charts, right?
Yeah, seriously, though, thanks so much for coming on, and we'll definitely hook up again soon.
Yeah. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks for having me.
All right, there he goes. Grayson, what a super guy. I tell you, I'm always amazed. Like I said, I started with stock charts back in 2006 as far as writing on the Chart Watchers newsletter, and then then became full-time writing over at Stock Charts back in March of 2015, and was there until just a little over a year ago. I guess it was in August, actually through middle September of 2019. Then I returned back to EarningsBeats as a chief market strategist. But throughout that whole process, Grayson and I actually worked pretty closely together, and he was on some of my shows, and we did segments together and so forth. But I was always amazed that somebody as young as Grayson could have so much knowledge. I mean, I've always been really impressed. And it's not just, the side that you're seeing today, which is, chart reading and things like that. I mean, he can, do the coding and all this other stuff. It's like, how in the heck did he learn all this? But, I'm still trying to figure out it. I'm not going to say how old I am, but at an advanced age, I'm still trying to figure some things out here just with the charts and on. Seems to have a great grasp of everything. So pretty cool. Anyway, John, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up with the last segment. And
Hey, Tom?
So yeah.
Just before you go, a couple of quick questions.
Mm-hmm.
When you were talking about your picks, I think from May, the question was how much was DocuSign up and what was your average for the 5 picks for that period?
I didn't give that. I'm surprised I didn't give that, especially since I beat Grayson. Let's see. Yeah, I had LVGO, ENPH, PayPal, LIVX, and Docu. Docu was up 93.5%. The average for those 5 was 69.7%. The S&P was 18.7%.
Okay. And somebody's wondering, are these pick charts going to be shared at the end of the webinar so they can be downloaded? I don't know if that was planned or not.
I mean, it's not that many.
Right.
Set up. Yeah, I mean, I would
No,
just go ahead.
the answer is no.
Yeah. That's just something else I don't really have time for right now, or something else I'd probably forget in another 24 hours. But yeah, I mean, it's just 5 stocks for each of us.
And the last question outstanding, how do you know in a chart that it's too high or the AD line before the pullback so you don't jump in and it drops?
Well, I mean, the AD line, I don't really pay attention to it on a daily basis. I'm just looking, is it moving up? Is it trending higher? If it's trending higher and the stock price is trending higher, that's great. If it's trending higher and the stock price is trending lower, I don't know that I would necessarily jump in, but there was a stock recently I talked about. Let me pull my screen, pull a chart up here. So I mentioned recently, and I don't know when it was, and I'm on so many shows and write so much, I can't keep track of what I talk about where, but there's a company, Slack Technologies, which we use in our business. It's just an online collaboration tool. And one of the things with Slack is, they've come out with a couple earnings reports. They disappointed, and you can see the stock had been trending lower. But look at the AD line going higher. Now, I wanted to see some confirmation on price action, but look at what's been going on now. The last time it gapped down, AD line went up, and we started recovering. And then we started working our way back lower, but look at the volume dropping. And then volume picked back up again. We went up. And then when we went down with earnings, the AD line kept going up. I think that there's still a lot of accumulation taking place with work. And I think when all of this institutional accumulation, everything is done, I think this is a stock that could go a lot higher. So I really like the stock, but I wouldn't buy a stock just because the AD line's strong. I've seen plenty where the stock price is going down and the AD line's going up and the price keeps going down. But I do think that if you're looking at 2 stocks, they're both going down in price, but one has a strong AD and the other has a weak AD, I'd be more inclined to look at the one with the strong AD. So I don't know if that helps answer that question or not, but that's one of the things that I would be looking at. And what was the other part of that question, John? I think it was like a two-part question. Are you still there?
Yes. Hold on. There were so many questions. I have to go back and try to find it. I think the basic question was, do you want to jump in if it looks like it's going to pull back?
Oh, yeah, after it was extended, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it went up so much. You can always, I guess, it's one of those things, stocks going up. If I jump in, it's going to come back down. That's the way I feel about it. And if I wait for the pullback, it won't pull back. I mean, when we do our portfolios, we do them as of a certain day and we get in at that price and we don't try to time. I think it comes down to, are you more buy and hold? Is that more appealing to you, or do you like to follow the market really closely, and do you like to trade? And if you like to trade, and I like to trade, then generally speaking, you don't want to be jumping in when a stock goes up. I think, just about anybody you read at Stock Charts is probably not going to say, hey, buy this stock after it goes up 10 days in a row. Most are going to say, hey, this is a support range over here, and if it pulls back into this area, that's probably a buyable area. So the trading side of me says, see if you can get a pullback. It's going to make it a lot more palatable to enter. The portfolio side of me, which is a combination of buy and hold in trading, says if you got a stock and it's a leader, I mean, you can sit there and try to time your entry, but a lot of times it's better just to get in. And everybody's different. If you're somebody who's really conservative, you don't want to take a whole lot of risk, then I would say wait for a pullback. Make sure you get a pullback, because then you're going to question everything. As soon as the stock starts pulling back after you buy, it's going to mentally be draining. And so everybody's different with how that goes. Some people buy and it pulls back for a month or two and they're down 15%. They don't think anything of it. Somebody else can't sleep at night. It's just, everybody's different. You have to look inside yourself to figure out what's best for you. But if you're somebody, I would just make this general statement. If you tend to be very risk intolerant, where you just don't like it when your stocks go down quickly after you buy, I would say you probably should always be buying on weakness. Someone else, again, if you're more, if you don't mind taking the risks and you just want to get in and just hold for a period of time, then I think, trying to time it might not be the best thing. Maybe just jump in. So just depends. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on because we do have, I want to try to stick to our 2-hour time frame and get out of here pretty quickly. And I got some things I want to talk about here. So I'm going to go back over into that other account that Grayson had set up for me. And I want to do a couple things just to show you what we do at EarningsBeats. So let me see if I can remember. I don't remember the password. I got to think about this. Go find it. Okay. Okay. And the other thing I want to mention for anybody who's come in late, I just wanted to let you know that we do have a webinar special running. So if you like what you hear and you like some of the things we do, first of all, set up a trial at StockCharts, set up a trial with us. Ours is $7, but we refund it back to you within a week. So literally both of our 30-day trials are essentially free. So you can check out everything that Grayson was talking about, all the things we've talked about, all the great tools and features over at StockCharts. And then you can also marry it with all the research that we're doing for the next 30 days at absolutely no cost, and see if it makes a difference in your trading. And I try to be really honest and transparent. If you don't think that we fit in your trading, in what you do, I don't want you to be a member. I mean, honestly, I just want you to be a member if you feel like this is the right service for you. If you like the things that we do, if you think that what we teach is very educational and you're picking things up and you're doing better in the market, then yes, obviously we want you. But you can try us for 30 days at absolutely no cost. But if you do like, this runs through October 12th, which is Monday. And anytime we do webinars, we tend to have these webinar specials. But if you do look at this and you say, hey, I really like what you all are doing. I want to commit. I want to try things for a year. We have an annual for $697, which you get an extra month because of this webinar special. So you get 13 months. And if you're just trying us out with a trial, you will get the 13 months in addition to your trial months. So you'll get 14 months for just under $700. That works out to actually less than $50 a month, which is way off our normal monthly rate of $97 a month. If you take out a trial and at the end of 30 days, you just say, okay, I want to stick with the program, but you don't sign up for the annual, then you're going to pay $97 a month. And so there's definitely some benefits, financial benefits to signing up for that annual. So I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that, anybody coming in late. Also, anybody coming in late, we are recording the entire webinar, and we'll send this out to everyone in our community. So anybody who's here, anybody who's not here, you will get a copy of the recording. You can check it out at your leisure. If you want to go back and re-listen to something, you'll have that option, and we'll make sure that you get that. Okay, so I'm back in this other account now, I believe. So I could go into my strong earnings chart list. Yep, there it is. Okay, so let's go back over to EarningsBeats because I wanted to do one more thing. I'm going to give you one more benefit for being here today. And that is, if I might be logged out, but let me see. Go into the portfolios. No, I am logged out. All right. And actually, it's on this chart list page. So we have 4 portfolios. And on our homepage, if you're not signed in, our public homepage, you can see our performance. All of our stocks in each of our portfolios are given to our members in real time every quarter. So there's nothing like, oh, by the way, we picked Zoom from 2 weeks ago. We give them all out in real time. We have recordings. You can go back and listen. And so there's nothing fishy at all about our performance results. We equally weight 10 stocks in each portfolio, and we hold them for 90 days. Just based on kind of what I did earlier with the 5 stocks that I like, that's what we go through. That's the research we do. We look, we don't put 10 software stocks in a portfolio. We're not trying to overweight and under diversify like that. We try to get 10 leading stocks in 10 different industry groups. Now, am I going to be rushing out to buy real estate and financials and utilities to fully diversify? No, these are all areas that are underperforming the S&P 500. I think the market goes higher. I don't want to be in groups that underperform. I want to be in groups that outperform. That's how I'm going to beat the S&P 500. So the portfolio stocks that you see are mostly going to be technology, consumer discretionary, communication services. We started picking up a little bit more industrial, healthcare. I like some of the healthcare areas, and renewable energy, which is in the energy space. That's the only area within the energy space that I like. But I'm going to go ahead and show you. I didn't download all the portfolios because we still have these 4 portfolios, our model, aggressive, income, and strong AD portfolios. So I'm going to download those for you right now. So I'm going to, and you'll be able to see the stocks here in just a second. So I'll copy the password. Let's click on there. And I don't know why sometimes I don't have to enter the password. But anyway, we did 0101. So for the portfolios, let's do 0201. And every 3 months, we come out with a new portfolio. So I always put the date on here. Next time I do a model portfolio, it'll be November 2020. But anyway, we'll go ahead and save the results. All right, so that's saved. Let's go back and aggressive portfolio. Copy the password. No, don't need it again. All right. 0202. Save results. See how quick? I mean, these small chart lists, they're only 10 stocks. They get saved so fast. Income portfolio. Save. 0203. And then go back here and do the last one, strong AD portfolio. 0204, save results. Okay, so now everything should be set up in this account. That's 6 chart lists that I showed you earlier, how I downloaded those, and now 4 more chart lists of our portfolios, and we'll go through these just a second. But when I look now, if I pull up a chart, by the way, Fastly had a huge week last week. Man, this really helped carry our strong AD portfolio higher. And by the way, there's the AD line on Fastly, so it's breaking out to a new high. This was actually one that I had on my final list when I did my top 5. This was one I was thinking about doing, was Fastly. Really like this stock. But anyhow, so I will show you as we go through these portfolios. So there are the 6 chart lists that I added earlier. Strong earnings, strong future earnings. Whoops. Strong AD, weak AD, raised guidance, and short squeeze chart list. Here are the 4 portfolios I just entered. So you can always come back and look at these. I'm going to pull these up and view all summary fashion so you can see what 10 stocks we have in. Sort it by symbol. Actually, I'll sort it by how they're doing over the last month, 1 month performance. Now, do you see every stock in our mono portfolio soaring? No. 4 of them are pretty much flat. But the idea by getting into these leaders is that usually a couple of stocks will carry the portfolio. Look at Solar Edge. In the last month, it's up 57%. Zoom, 26. Pinterest, 22. Tesla, 18. Shopify, 15. So there are some of your leaders there. Let's go to the aggressive portfolio. QDEL is up 82%. In the last month. Now, it did take a big tumble before that, by the way. So it's not up like that amount for the quarter. We're not up that much on the stock. But in the last month, 82%. Cloudflare, 36%. Etsy, 30%. ACMR, 25. AAWW, 21, so forth. Let's move on to income portfolio. Now, these are going to be a little less volatile. And I always talk about, you know, when we set up our income portfolio, for those maybe who are a little bit less risky, you know, don't sleep well at night if stocks start going all over the place. I think a portfolio like this is probably a little bit better. They all pay dividends. They don't tend to be nearly as volatile. FedEx up 20%, Whirlpool 17, DHI, which is DR Horton. It's in that home construction space, up 11%, and so forth. A couple of them down. You know, even Apple over the last month flat. And then the last one, the strong AD portfolio. And this portfolio has really just been on fire this quarter. Fastly's up 50% in the last month. Peloton, 35%. Square, 30%. Genmark, 22%. Neo, 19%. Wayfair, 15%. I mean, it's easy to outperform the S&P 500 when you've got, you know, groups like that. But check out the industry groups. 10 different industry groups. But when you look at the sectors, we've got a lot of skewing toward technology and consumer discretionary. Those are what I believe are the 2 best sectors. So yeah, I'm going to skew the portfolios toward those. If that is bothersome, if you feel like that's too much risk, then, you know, we're not going to hold any of our members' fingers to the buy button. You don't have to buy anything. You can wait. Some of these stocks pull back. You might like to trade them. We have members who just buy them and just follow us for 90 days. We have other members, you know, that maybe wait until we get a 50-day test. You know, everybody does things different, which is fine. But what we're doing is just trying to educate and trying to get folks to concentrate on looking beyond a stock price, looking at their peers, looking at the S&P. Are you outperforming? Don't just ride these stocks. Listen, you know, you hear this stock at the water cooler, you know, and I'm trying to think of something that hasn't been doing very well. I mean, maybe somebody says, you know, man, those drug retailers, that's a really strong group. And so you pull the chart up and, you know, it's been downtrending for a while, and you pull it up relative to the S&P 500 and, you know, go to a line chart. And I mean, look at the group relative to the S&P 500. How are you going to outperform with drug retailers in your portfolio? Maybe in another year or two, or maybe in 3 months, 2 months, who knows? Maybe we start to turn back up again and this group becomes very, very popular. And when it does, guess what? These stocks are going to start showing up on our scans. But now, no interest whatsoever in trying to, trying to bottom fish. That is not what we do at EarningsBeats. If you're a value investor and you're trying to capture high dividend yielding stocks that have been going down for the last several years, this is not the service for you. I'll just be honest. That's not what I look for. You're not going to find those types of stocks provided as possible trade ideas. We look for strength. We look for momentum. We look for strong earnings. We look for short squeezes. That's the other thing. Let me show you the short squeeze chart list. And so notice the chart style was different here. So the default chart style set up when you start your StockCharts account is going to just be something like this. But when you download the chart list from us, you're going to have the charts already set up the way they are in that chart list. Now, if you want to change something, and let me just make sure here. Okay. So if you wanted to change something here, you know, and change your buttons, what I can't figure out are how these chart styles, maybe those are default that come up with style. I've not worked with a new account in a while and haven't thought about it. I didn't think they gave you any chart styles. I'm going to pull one up and just see what it looks like. Okay, that's all right. I would personally be getting rid of all these and setting my own up. But let me show you how you could set up a chart list, because this was a question I think came in earlier in the webinar. So let me try to think how I set mine up. So we got the PPO. I'm going to put in the AD line. I'm going to bring that down here below. Got my moving averages. Someone asked me earlier about setting up, you know, how I set up my industry group and all the relative charts at the bottom. So I'm going to show you how I do this. So price, first thing we want to know is the industry group. So $ industry. And then I always like solid lines, and I want to make the chart 1.0 just so it's the same size as that top chart. I'm probably going to change this height from 650. I'm going to do 1500. So it's just going to make the chart much taller. And I do that because I'm adding so many panels. Otherwise, it's all going to get squished together and you're not going to be able to read it. Next thing I do is I do the symbol relative to the industry group. And again, solid line. Then I do the symbol relative to the S&P 500. And then the last thing I do is the industry group relative to the S&P 500. So let's see how this all comes out. All right, my panels, I must make those other panels a little bit bigger on the these indicators. So I'm going to change the height here to 0.7, 0.7. And let's take a look at how that comes out. Okay, that's looking a little bit better. So here you've got the PPO. I've got my, the stock, got the volume, got accumulation distribution. GameStop's in the specialty retail group. GameStop relative to the specialty retailers. GameStop relative to the S&P 500 and Dow Jones specialty retailer index divided by the S&P 500. So this is kind of a basic chart. So what you can do here is you can add with this plus button and chart list description, just say relative strength. And so now you're adding that new. And so here is your relative strength. Now, if you want to start moving things around, see, for me, I have no interest in that 5-day chart. I'm getting rid of all of these except relative strength. So I'm just bringing them down into the bottom here. I'm dragging them. The ones that show above the buttons here, these are the ones that are going to show up on your button. So when I change this, we should just have one button. And there it is. Okay. Now, let's say you also Let's change this and go with a 5-day, 5-minute chart. And let's see, 5-day, 5-minute. I'm going to go ahead and keep everything else here the same. I don't usually do 5-day, 5-minute with all the relative strength stuff, but you can. I mean, there it is. Actually, I'm going to get rid of all of that. I mean, you could save it like that if you want. To me, that just gets way too busy. So I'm going to get rid of all of those relative strength. And then I think we're probably pretty good here. Let me pull that up now. Okay, so now I probably can get rid of the 0.7 as well. I can go down to auto. All right, so now you got a 5-minute, 10-day chart, and I also don't need 1500 height. I try to get it so that it's all on one page if I can on my screen. That's probably still too big. Let's go down to about 700. So it's all about seeing what you like. But now I've got just about everything on the screen, maybe even 600. All right, so now I'm looking at, here's my 5-minute, 10-day chart. And actually I did a 10-minute. I always do 10-minute. 10-minute, 5-day, I should say. I had it backwards. So there's my, wait a second. No, I do 5 days. I don't even know what I do. 10-minute, 5-day. There's my 10-minute, 5-day chart. Okay, so that's one of mine that I set up now. Again, use that plus button. So now I'm going to do, and actually what I normally do is I number them just so I can keep them in the same order. So 01 would be 10-minute or 5-day, 10-minute. And add new. And then when I go up here, I can edit this one. And I might make this one like, if it's my 5th chart, I might make it 005. And then when I'm done and I come back out of here, yeah, it's still not, I thought they would line it up. Maybe I have to do it the first time. Anyway, so I'm going to go in here. I'm just going to drag this one up above because I want this one to show first. I like doing short term down to longer term, and then relative strength is usually on the bottom for me. But anyway, that should set that up. So now so you're on a 5-minute, and now you want to go to the relative strength. Instead of going to the bottom of your chart and having to change all this manually, you got a style button set up. So you see how fast I can change that back and forth. That's kind of a neat thing that when you set up an account at StockCharts, you want to make sure you set up these style buttons. And if you have certain charts that you like to look at, once you get it set up, set your style button, your chart style button, okay? Make sure that you have those saved. That'll save you a ton of time at StockCharts. Okay, so what do we do at StockCharts? And I know I'm running over, but it was great having Grayson on. I didn't want to cut him off. I wanted to give him plenty of time to talk about some of the things he wanted to talk about. And the top 5 picks, I think, is really important too, to spend time talking about the things that really we look at that are so important in terms of our investments and our strategy. But let me go through, and I'm trying to think what else I can show you here. So if I've got, if I go into EarningsBeats and go to the member area, scanning strategies, I'll bring another one of these up. Let's see, let's do the RSI 40 to 50. In all of my years of trading, a lot of times when I buy stocks on pullbacks, when they're pulling back, hitting key support or a moving average, a lot of times the RSI will go down in that 40 to 50 range. And so if I'm buying a stock on a pullback, if I'm looking for pullbacks, this is a scan that I would consider running. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go over here now to the dashboard, and I'm going to go into my scans, and I'm going to do a new scan, and I'm going to get rid of this. I don't need to tell it that it's looking for a stock or that it's looking for a certain volume, because all of those things are already considered for me when the chart list is created. The stock wouldn't be on the chart list if it wasn't liquid. The chart wouldn't be on the stock list if it wasn't a stock. I don't do ETFs, although we are going to start a new ETF service. If you're interested, we're having an event on Monday that's open to the public at 4:30 that you'll want to check out. But anyway, let's get rid of all that and let's go down, or actually let's just copy that. There's the RSI scan that we have over at our website. So again, we've already got some of these scans preset. So you literally copy them, come over here and drag them to stock charts. And then we want to run this scan against a chart list. So the chart list, we would go down to the list that we just already did. And strong earnings chart list is certainly one that we could do. So let's add that. And let's say we wanted it to be on either strong earnings or strong future earnings. So we could come down here and grab another chart list, strong future earnings, two of our chart lists. And now you can see they're both there. Now the problem is when we set these chart lists up, they're designed so that no stocks are going to be on both lists. I think right now I've got to update the strong future earnings chart list, so we might have a few that are on both. But in theory, if we update these at the exact same time, there will be no charts or no stocks that are on both of these chart lists. So the way this scan is set up right now, you'll never get anything returned. But what you can do is say, run this for the strong earnings chart list or the strong future earnings chart list. Now you got this little caution sign because we need a clause wrapped in a parent bracket. So in other words, the groups that you're going to say, or you need to have a double bracket around. So right here, you got to put a double bracket. And then at the end of this one, you have to have a double bracket. The other thing is these, when you see strong earnings chart list, strong future earnings, in your account, it may say something different. You see how mine shows favorites list is 25, favorites list is 26. That's because there were already 24 chart lists, default chart lists that were included in this account when StockCharts set me up. So this became my 25th, this became my 26th. If you already have an account and you've already downloaded, 105 different chart lists, when you download this, it's probably going to be numbered 106. So when you run a scan against this chart list and you pull it up from your drop-down menu and put it up here, your favorites list is going to be different than mine. The number is going to be different. So don't copy this scan and put it in your account and then write me an email and ask me why it's not returning anything. Because StockCharts is looking at your account independently, and your numbering system of your chart list is going to be different than mine. Hopefully that's clear, okay? But these brackets, you need to have the double brackets because you have this and then you got to kind of rope off the two groups that are going to be bound by this or clause. And that's why you have to put the brackets around both of these, okay? So now I'm going to run this RSI scan, but it could be on either one of these chart lists. Both of these are kind of momentum charts. So if they're pulling back and they've got an RSI between 40 and 50, probably is worth taking a look at. So now I'm going to run the scan. 51 stocks. Now you might look at that and say, well, that's too many. I got to narrow it down. So, okay, let's go back here and let's say the RSI is greater than 40, but it's less than 45. Okay, check syntax, good to go. Run the scan. And scan results, now I'm down to 18. And I can sort this in scooter so I get some of the best scooters. Now your scooter, a lot of times maybe isn't going to be 90 because, or 95 or 99 because these stocks have been pulling back. So you got to keep in mind scooters are probably going to be a little bit lower. And if you wanted to, even make it more restrictive, you could set it so that your scooter has to be a certain level. And that would return even fewer. But specialty retail has been a pretty good group. Let's look at CarMax and see what CarMax is doing. Well, it's coming up on my default, but let's take a look at the relative strength. And CarMax, trending higher, higher high, higher low, but it is under the moving averages. AD line's completely fallen apart. Relative strength, it's getting back closer to a low. I like the specialty retailers group, but CarMax doesn't seem to me to be one of the better ones. So I would ignore this chart. Just because the RSI is in that 40 to 45 range doesn't mean that I want to buy the stock. But for those of you who want to make sure you're not chasing, this is a good scan, because you can't get an RSI between 40 and 45 and have a stock breaking out the new highs. That's impossible. So this is a good pullback scan. Also, if you're over in EarningsBeats, we had another pullback scan, which was the downtrend reversal, which I talked about. The 20-day EMA test, which is a pullback scan. You're coming back testing the 20-day EMA. Here's a breakout scan. If you're somebody who really likes stocks that are making new moves, you know, breaking out to the upside, you know, but they're on our chart lists, you can copy. We're going to come over here, and I'm going to start from scratch again so I can, oh, I didn't save that scan, but let me show you how you do that. So new scan, and going to get rid of this, going to save. So this is 52-week high. So you can come up here and you can click Save As. And I don't know, number it however you want, but this is our 5th scan on our website. So we do 005, 52-week high. Okay. And so now anytime you come in, you've now got, see, I did this one earlier in the show, downtrend reversal, but now you've got the 2 scans already set up. So you don't have to keep copying and pasting. You've got them set up over here. But now I got to add chart list. So let's see, 52-week high, and it's on our strong earnings chart list. There it is, check syntax, run scan, and 101 of our 470, so almost 25%, between 20 and 25% are breaking out. Now, another interesting thing you could do here is a lot of the stocks that have scooter scores up in the 90s have been breaking out, and they're probably overbought. So there's a better chance of catching a stock that maybe has been going sideways by maybe adding one more thing to this scan, and that would be a scooter score. So if I come over here and say, add scooter, and the scooter has to be less than 80. So it's a stock setting a 52-week high, but it's not already got a real high scooter score. And then check syntax, and this should not return too many. Run scan. Now I'm down to 16, and all of them have scooters under 80. These could be stocks that are really starting to look. And a lot of times I will look through at the industry groups and see if I notice any really strong industry groups. One of the stocks that Grayson picked back in the pitch 5 or 6 months ago, back on April 1st, was Atlassian. Well, it just broke to a 52-week high, and the scooter's 75. We pull the chart up and see it's how it's been consolidating, just making a breakout. So this is one that maybe you might be more interested in. Let's see, pod, medical equipment. Yeah, I mean, it's broken out, but we went through months of consolidation. So this one recently broke out. Agilent, kind of a little consolidation last few months, just broke out. Volume not great on the breakout. I'd rather see a little bit more volume coming in. Let's see what else we have here. Costco on the list with a scooter at 60. It had pulled back at that 50-day, held the prior low, and now it's just breaking out. And if we pull it up on a relative strength basis, you can see things are starting to turn up on most of these charts on Costco. This one's still a little bit weak. So it's industry groups a little bit weak. Look at the AD line, completely moving higher. It certainly looks like Costco has improved quite a bit technically. Oops, let's go back. I'll do one more. Well, I picked Square in the computer services earlier. Let's see what Cognizant looks like, CTSH. Yeah, I mean, sideways consolidation breaking out, volume pretty decent, relative strength. We go over here, and you can see over the last 4 months, relative to its peers, it's been rising. Relative to the S&P, breaking out, really close to a 52-week relative high. AD line, very strong, up near its high. Yeah, I mean, this is a nice looking chart. Look at we could even go back all the way to February, and you can see we're just making this breakout above 71, 72 area. So yeah, Cognizant, I think, looks pretty good. But again, those are the tools that we have. You can download all of this right into your account. all the work we do, and your cost literally for 30 days is zero. I mean, why not? Anyway, I think that's probably about all for today, John. I know we've run over a little bit. I was trying to finish by 1. But any other questions maybe that I need to address?
Just real quick. A couple of people asked the portfolio. I think the last one you picked, Etsy, Sedge, SQ, and IRTC. What is the missing pick?
Etsy, Sedge, Square, IRTC, and Pinterest.
Pins. Okay, that was okay. And one last question: does it make sense to look at the AD line on the hourly time frame?
I don't know that it hurts. I don't know that it's a great indicator. Anything on an intraday period, I don't know from a trading perspective is going to be nearly as important as a daily. And the reason being, you've got market makers that create short-term inefficiencies in the market. They're getting orders from their institutional clients, and they're trying to fill those orders at the best price possible. That's their primary goal. In addition to providing liquidity in the markets, they're trying to get the best price possible for their clients. So that's why you see a lot of these false breakdowns and these big reversals. I mean, it was easy for them to gather shares back in March because everybody was panicking and selling. And so there was a lot of accumulation taking place, which we've talked about. I mean, look at CTSH, by the way, on the AD line. Look at the stock going down. And once we had that initial move down, we never saw a new low on the AD line. The reason, look at all these hollow candlesticks. We were getting gap downs, but the stock was being accumulated and it was reversing during the trading day, as opposed to UAL, which was continuing to go down, down, down. Look at the AD line moving lower and lower. Price went down, the AD line kept dropping. It was telling us, stay the heck away from airlines. You don't want to be in the airlines. Cruise line, same thing. Norwegian. Look at all these big red filled candles. Do you see those hollow candles that I just talked about with Cognizant, CTSH? I don't see any. Not on the way down. These are all filled. This is selling. There were gap downs and then more selling during the day. CTSH, on the other hand, it's all selling. But look at the hollow candles. Hollow candles mean you close above your open. That's what the candles represent. So anyway, hopefully that helps.
Tom, that's enough for today. Fantastic. Appreciate it. We'll make sure everybody gets a copy of the recording, as quickly as possible. Sometimes it takes a little while to get it all ready to go out the right way. But also, just a reminder that we've got an event Monday that you don't want to miss about our new ETF service. Everybody will make sure that everybody gets a link to that Zoom room so you can come check it out. Going to be exciting, Tom.
Yeah, the ETF service, and the big thing for me, I'll be quite honest, I think stocks are the way to go. I'm not an ETF fan. I rarely trade an ETF, but I know a lot of our members do. I know a lot of people read my blogs. They would prefer ETFs. And so we're going to put a service together. And the real key or the theme with ETFs, in my opinion, is you always need to know what you own. And so that's going to be the theme throughout. You're going to hear that a lot. Know what you own. And then when we set up a service, it's going to be designed so that you know what you own. You're not just buying this thing with 3 letters that is an investment and the line's going up and it's doing this. You need to know what stocks are in there, and not just which stocks are in there, but are they good stocks? If a stock's lined with a bunch of airline, or if an ETF's lined with a number of airline stocks, and that's not a good area of the market, then you're putting your money to work in areas that just aren't smart, in my opinion. And, you might like that style. And hey, if you do that, to each his or her own, it's not our style. It's not my style. I don't want my money in areas of the market that are not performing. I'm just, holding my returns back. And I'm not the only one. Warren Buffett, who's the best value investor of all time, made comments about diversification. He said it's basically, for those who, I don't remember exactly, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but for those who are ignorant about the market, if you don't know what you're doing, then you diversify, because you don't really know what to buy and what to sell and where your money should be. But if you follow stock charts and a lot of the contributors over there, which, you know, I think it's top notch world class people that write over at stock charts, a lot of them are good friends of mine now. Just a brilliant group between stock charts and everything, all the information there, all the tools there. What we do at EarningsBeats here, if you're not improving as a trader or an investor based on all that knowledge, then maybe, you know, just being in the S&P 500 is good enough. I don't know. Everybody's got to make that their own call. But I did pull up on my screen also the webinar special. Just want to make sure that anybody coming in late, if you do want to try us out for a year, it's $697. That'll save you a fortune over the $97 a month. It also gets you 13 months for the price of 12. We're having this webinar special through Monday. And you also get your trial month. So even if you sign up today and you say, okay, I want to jump into the annual membership, we'll still give you your 30-day trial. You'll get 14 months for that $697. So it's a great deal. I want to make sure everybody's aware of it. That's it for me today. Tune in, everybody, on Monday. I think it'll be a really good webinar on ETFs. We've actually got an action-packed week next week for our members as well. Max Payne webinar on Tuesday. And then I think it's another webinar on Wednesday. I got so many, I can't remember which one that is. Maybe the sneak preview of the earnings season. But anyway, we'd love to have you join if you're not a member. I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, a big shout out to Grayson for stopping by. It was, you know, he took time out of his Saturday to be here. I know he works hard during the week, so, and away from his lovely fiance. So we really appreciate that, Grayson. Thank you. Everybody have a great rest of your weekend. We'll be back on Monday. Make sure you tune into Trading Places Live, by the way. We do that here at EarningsBeats on Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 a.m. You can listen to my show. I'll lead you right into the market open on Mondays and Wednesdays. Anyhow, everybody have a great weekend. Hopefully see you on Monday. Take care. Happy trading.